Well, howdy, friends and floorheads. It is Thursday night and episode 2 of Brindlewood Bay, which we have been all very excited about. We're going to jump right in, but we got a little bit of cleanup to do from episode 1. I forgot to allow my mavens to make some advancements. So, one of the things that each player does at the beginning of each session is they mark 3 basically triggers for getting XP, and there's a list of them that they have options for. One of them is they have to check of the 3, so you only get really 2 choices, and one of them is did you solve a mystery? So I know none of you solved a mystery in episode 1. Maybe we'll do it here in this episode, but I want to find out, and of the other 2, did any of you reach that? So Navi, did Jackie hit any of her other 2 that she met?
She got them both.
Oh, what were
So
they?
I took undermine the authority or a local official. So holding up the sheriff on the way to the body,
Sheriff
and
Garofal.
then
That's an easy one. Let's
that was
unmark
an
that
easy
and give you an
one.
XP.
I feel like I'm just gonna check that every single time. It's gonna be an easy one. I'm gonna undermine people all the time. And then the other one was, did you share your wisdom with a young person? And she did share her terrible wisdom on the way out, telling what's his name to go and chase after the new widow.
That's right.
Mm.
You told that to the banker Gordon Thune that now is the time to hit on the widow.
Strike while the iron's hot.
All right. And Geraldine, what did you hit any of your 2?
All right, so I did. Did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official? Yes, probably when she tampered with the crime scene investigation. That was a pretty easy one.
That's easy. Let's mark an XP for that.
All right, and my second one was, did you show someone that you still got it? I
Ooh.
don't believe I actually did that one.
All right. Well, you can uncheck it, then recheck it if you want. But each of them, after we do this, they're going to secretly check 2 more or 2 of the same. Elsie, what did you have for your triggers?
Oh, I'm afraid I only got one of them, and that would be did you dote on someone? And after all my compatriots were confronted by the very traumatic imagery of a body falling out of the pot of gold, I went in and prepared goodies for everybody and made sure everyone was calm and
No question
ready to
about it.
face our issues.
Yeah, very thoughtful.
But not to the other one, which was did you share a memory of a late family member? And I did.
Oh.
I don't believe I did that.
All right, so go ahead and check 2 for this session. Last but not least, Maeve.
Yeah. So
What did-
Mauve had I had checked, did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official? And I don't know that the sheriff kind of undermined himself to me.
Okay,
So
that's
I feel
fair.
like
No,
that
I agree.
counts.
Yep.
And then behave like a woman half your age. So in the bank, when the bank manager was like all over Elsie, Maud let her temper get to her a little bit. She was
a little jealous.
She was a little jealous of the spotlight. Like she was.
Yeah, and then the other thing was using your previously purchased assets to get the attention of the sheriff. I don't know if you remember that, where you pressed yourself against the sheriff to get his attention. I think that counts as well. So we'll mark 1 XP for that.
Listen, husband number 3 paid real well for those. Okay, just saying, he paid a lot for those.
All right, so now they're going to go ahead and mark 2
Can't
more
do.
for this session. I want to remind everybody, including those watching, a couple mechanics that we didn't use or get to in session 1 that may come up this one, and I just want to briefly talk about them. One is all of them have items in their cozy little place. These are items that they have and they can have with them at any point in time that they potentially could use to help them in a situation. And if they're in a situation where they're going to do a roll and they can justify having one of these items help them, they'll be able to roll for advantage. So instead of rolling 2 dice, they'll roll 3 and take the top 2. Maven moves, all 4 of them have their own unique Maven move that is unique to just their Maven. They do special things. None of them came up, but those are available to them. We decided as a cast, we're going to keep them secret from you until you see them execute their Maven move. Second to last, the Golden Crown Mystery Move is a move that all 4 of them have, but as a team can only use once per mystery. And when I present them where they need to make a roll because of a move, they can do the Gold Crown Mystery move and immediately get a 12 plus as a result. They don't have to make the roll. If it comes up, you'll see how cool this move is and how much fun we can have with it. Last but not least, a GM move that I did not use session 1. We'll see if I need to this session. That is called the cut to commercial move, which is if one of my Mavens is in a really, really bad spot and has had a really bad roll, and I don't want to see that happen, I can just go, okay, we're going to cut to commercial. And then I'm going to give that Maven a prompt, and they will narrate for us our commercial, our bad 80s commercial that we're watching. And then when we get back from commercial, just like when they cut to commercial on Murder, She Wrote, suddenly things go their way and they're able to get themselves out of that trouble. Every session, we always start with a cozy vignette. This is where each of the Mavens gets to narrate for us a time when they're, just kind of by themselves, kind of doing their thing. So I think I want to start with Jackie. So Jackie, it's morning after a pretty exciting day yesterday. What is your cozy vignette?
I think after an exciting day of murder and mayhem, she is on the phone, big old blocky, on the phone. She has Rolodex in front of her, and she has the obituaries in front of her, and she's going through and matching the obituaries with her Rolodex and calling around to see whose estate sales are happening and when. So she's filling in her schedule.
And I imagine that you have like a notepad where you've been taking notes throughout the time you've been to their house while they were alive. So we can see Jackie doing that, and pretty quiet. We can just hear the Rolodex flipping through, but suddenly the silence is broken by a knock at the door. We're going to come back to see who that is. Let's now cut to Geraldine. Geraldine, where are you for your cozy vignette?
Geraldine is actually riding into her garage from a nice morning, just freedom ride. She comes in, makes sure she blasts Van Halen, Hanema,
Nice.
so her goddamn neighbor 4 doors down can hear it.
So you are jamming to that, putting the motorcycle away, just kind of packing things up. You turn around and you realize maybe someone was knocking at your door as well, but because Panama was playing so loud, you didn't hear them. But the door does open and we see them peek in, and we'll find out who that is in a second. Elsie, can you give me your cozy vignette? And guess what? Someone's going to interrupt it at the end.
What? Shocker. So Elsie is up like right at the break of sunrise, and she's wrapped herself up in like these garishly colored shawls, and her anklets kind of jingle as she makes her way down the hall to her kitchen, and she starts with giving Poe, her kitty, a few pets while she makes herself a cup of tea. And then she's going to totter jingling down to her little atrium, and she is watering her plants and just kind of misting and kind of soaking it in and doing kind of like her little morning mindfulness.
And I would imagine that the Chrome Quill's not supposed to open for a couple hours.
No, definitely not before 9 a.m.
Which means someone knocking on the door downstairs is probably a bit of a surprise because you clearly have the hours marked on there. And we'll cut back to see who's knocking on that door. Last but not least, Maud. What's Maud's cozy little vignette?
She is she's got her little laptop set up, and she is finishing up a conversation with one of her 5 grandchildren, who is telling her all about college and how that's going. And, of course, is there any way, I could get just a little bit of spending money for the weekend? And, she's like, oh, honey, yeah, of course I'll send it to you, but don't tell your mama. She got mad at me last time I said it. She says you need some independence, but you don't need that yet, honey. You'll get there. You'll get there.
And of course, you also hear a knock at the door. Let's cut back to Jackie's home. Jackie, a knock at the door.
Hold on, somebody's at the door. If that armoire gets sold before I get back, and she sets it down and goes and opens the door.
You open the door, and immediately he takes his sheriff's hat off his head and puts it politely at his chest. It is our friend Ralph Sheriff Dalrymple. And I have a question for you, Jackie. As he stands there, you remember that you've always had a soft spot for him. And what is it that he said to you when you first met that makes you sympathize for him?
I think. It has to be something relatively self-serving. It has to be. I think that he was lamenting losing. After he was widowed, he had an incident where an item of his wife's that he had been holding on to was broken, and I think it was like a Fabergé egg. And so immediately, I'm completely sympathetic.
So he stands there and goes, Miss Smith, I hate to bother you this morning, but and I don't want to put no pressure on you Mavens, but did you make any progress yesterday? Do we know who killed Mr. Shipley?
We have some leads, some solid leads. Have you heard anything new? Has anybody come to you?
No, ma'am. I have been busy. I got a whole pile of parking tickets that really need to get taken care of. I figured because you guys were going to take care of this. And Miss Maud made it real clear that you guys were going to be discreet.
We're the most discreet. And she pulls up her notes. She's like, "Can you do a background check on?" And she hands him like the whole list.
A background check. Do I turn it over? I'm not sure what. Do I check the back of it?
The thing with you sit down at the computer and you look and see if they have unpaid parking tickets, if they have any outstanding debts, collections, jail time. Oh, jail time's good.
Got you. And do I close the Tetris first, or can I do it while I'm playing Tetris?
You can move the Tetris off to the side, and then you do both at the same time.
Ma'am, you are always super helpful. I'm going to go do that. Thank you, ma'am. Geraldine, the person who sticks their head in the door, I think had it been anybody else, I could imagine you pulling the wrench out, right? Say, hey. But luckily for you, it's good old Salty Nancy. Now, you met Salty Nancy soon after moving here to Brindlewood Bay. She is a very, very well-known tattoo artist, not just in Brindlewood Bay, but throughout the country, and especially in the Northeast. And she's about 15 years younger than you. Full sleeves, always wears a tank top with a sleeveless jean jacket. And she has got 2 covered cups of coffee. She says to you, she goes, Geraldine, do you want the wake up or the wake up coffee?
Give me the wake up coffee.
And as she hands it to you, you get a smell. What did she put into that coffee to make it the wake up coffee?
Oh, bourbon.
And you immediately smell that bourbon, but she gave you a false choice because you can also tell that she has bourbon in hers as well. My question for you is, what about Salty Nancy made you get a tattoo from her last year?
Oh. It was a situation where when she was younger, she wasn't expressive of herself as much as she is now. So when she finally kind of grieving a little bit over her husband, she had a conversation with Salty, and she was like, hey, how much did your tattoos actually hurt? And Salty gave her they don't hurt at all. And she was like, you know what? Life's short. Let's get one, goddammit.
And what was it? And where is it?
Oh my gosh. It is a classic butterfly right on her shoulder.
And I'm imagining Salty doing it, and she's like, Geraldine, you know that everybody has a butterfly on their shoulder. You know that, right? I can do. Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
know
Well,
that. I
okay.
just want the butterfly. Trust me.
Just, at least you didn't ask for tribal tattoo. That makes me happy. All right, let's do this butterfly.
It hurt.
Elsie, you can hear someone knocking downstairs at the front door of the Crow and Quill.
Going to very slowly make my way down there and open
And
with my cup of tea and my shawls.
now, luckily, when you head down the stairs, you can immediately see down one of the aisles of the bookstore to the glass door, and you can see who's standing there. And it is everybody's favorite friend and owner of Foam, the coffee shop, Eleanor Levinson. Now, Eleanor seems to be holding a gift. It may be a peace offering. My question for you is, you walk to, before you open the door, you can see what she's holding. What makes this gift slightly inappropriate?
It's probably like somebody else's baked goods. Like they ordered it from a standard bakery somewhere in town that has taken up like a little bougie shop front, and thinks that they're the best. And so she's brought me some sort of goodies from another bakery, and that's
So you open the
absolutely not
door and
appreciated.
she goes, Elsie, I feel really bad about how I treated you and your girlfriends yesterday. And I was having a really hard day. I got you these cookies. I don't know if you realize it, but
I'm just gonna close the door.
and she goes to knock, and you pull the blind down.
Turn the closed sign to it.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Maud, you're on with your granddaughter, and someone's knocking at the door.
I'll say, hold on, Nora. Just let me. How do you turn it? Do you push which? Oh, I got. I'll talk to you later, honey. And I'll push the button and toddle over to the door. I imagine that my little sassy pants is right there beside of me. Very curious to see who's at the door.
And I think Saucy Pants gets maybe a scent first, and it tells you immediately, maybe because Sassy Pants is not barking, that whoever's on the other side of that door is somebody that they're familiar with.
Mhm.
And when you open the door, he's wearing a cowboy hat. He has got a white T-shirt on, but he's been sweating, and there's just parts of that where you can see that. Even though some of his arms are red, you can tell he's been wearing a T-shirt there most of the morning. That, of course, is 25-year-old Jack Mason. And I want you to imagine a cross between a young George Clooney and maybe Brad Pitt from Lestat Vampire.
Why would you do this to Maud?
And he says, now, Miss Maud, I've got all the bushes taken care of. All I got left to do is the lawn. This should get taken care of real quick. But my question for you, Maud, as you're staring at him, is what did Jake do last week that made you think that maybe he has a little crush on you?
So, she was in her studio painting, and he was outside doing the gardening, and she wasn't really paying attention. She was just painting when she heard like the noise of someone, and she looks up, and as she looks up, he is like doing the, oh, it's so hot, and like pulling off his T-shirt, and she's just looking at him like, boy, I have no. But she appreciated it. She did appreciate it.
And the only thing that I think like put the period at the end of that sentence, in case you were wondering, was him making more than one reference that age is just a number. Now he's standing there and he tells you, that he's done with the bushes, and Miss Maud, I'm going to go ahead and take care of the lawn, of course. But I noticed last week you overpaid me, ma'am, because I'd only done the lawn. I hadn't done it, none of the bushes or anything, and you overpaid me by $10. And I just need to know is there some way I could earn this back?
She looks at him and she says, actually, I do have something for you. Come on inside for a second. And she takes him over to the computer and she shows him a picture of her granddaughter, Nora, who's about the same age he is. And she says, now, listen, here's what I need you to do. Nora lives, just a couple miles down at the local college, and she really just needs somebody to bring her. She left her laundry over here when she came over, so I need you to just take her laundry over. And here's her phone number, honey. She's really sweet. I think you will really, really like her. Now, why don't you just get yourself some lemonade, get yourself cleaned up, and take this laundry over to Nora. She is the sweetest, and I think you will really, really like her.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt, Miss Maud. Now I'm happy to take her laundry. Is there any of your laundry I can take too?
No, child. just go do that for me, and we'll be square. All right.
Goodness.
Okay. So, real quick recap of where we are in the mystery. We are trying to figure out who killed Greg Shipley, former chess master, award-winning author, and more importantly, how he got his fortune. He is the inventor of the Fit Fork, the only fork that'll help you lose weight. We started off when we saw his body at the parade. We had a chance to meet Sheriff Ralph Darewhipple again, and there you guys found in Greg Shipley's pocket, you found a restraining order against Greg, crumpled up in his pocket. You also found a canceled check. Greg had written a check to somebody for $1,200, and it had been voided. Following that lead, you went to the bank where we got to meet, we being the audience, you guys have known him for years, banker Gordon Thune, who is a huge Elsie fan, having financed the Crow and Quill. And while poking around there, we found, after you guys very smartly got him out of the office, going through his office on his bookshelf, you found hidden in the bookshelf a copy of Greg's famous book on how to win at chess. And oddly, one chapter was ripped out, and you noted the title of that chapter. Put the book back before Gordon returned. Last but not least, we finished off at Foam, the coffee shop where the chess club meets that Greg Shipley used to be a president of, but is no longer. And there we met Lou Good, the treasurer. We also met Jolene Cakes, the short in stature but large in personality, current president and former chess master, dethroned by Greg Shipley. And there you guys picked up 2 more clues. You found the chess club attendance book, which Maud slipped into her purse. And then, Jackie, we finished the session with you finding a greeting card on top of one of the trash cans. And when you read the greeting card, it said on there, "You deserved this, Greg." We're on day 2. Where are the 4 Mavens going to meet, and where are the 4 Mavens headed?
Meet at my shop, I assume, as always.
Who shows up first?
I do. Why is close? It's 9:15. You're never close. She's just banging on the door and like tapping on the sign. What is going on?
Up. Like whip the shade up. Like, oh, come on. Is she gone?
Who?
Oh, that Eleanor.
Wait, she came here?
She did. Can you believe that she tried to bring me cookies from Bake to this stupid little pink box of commercial crap into my kitchen?
Pop my head out and I look both ways down the street, and then I shut the door and I flip I keep the sign on closed, and I pull the blinds back down. Okay, we're just good idea.
And I think we have Geraldine and Maud walking up at the same time to the close sign. It's 9:20. What's going on?
Yeah. Honey, do you think she's all right? And Maud will kind of look through the windows, like peeking through the, not even looking at the door, just like peeking through the shop windows, like, you know.
Sees us both pressed against the door.
Geraldine's going knock. Do, 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 do.
I'm just gonna see one little eye peek from the bottom of the curtain. And then I'll whip the door open real fast and I'll look out. Come on.
Oh, okay. What are we hiding from?
Eleanor.
She entered. Yeah, shut the door. Get in.
I figure maybe if I just keep it closed for an extra hour, she'll go away.
Why is she here? God. Okay.
I'm eating the cookies anyways.
Those are my cookies because those cookies from Bake did not make it into my home.
That's
Oh,
right.
that's why they're so good. Okay. I was gonna
She
eat
put 'em
anyways.
back
The
in the
cookies are
box.
cookies.
They're in a little pink box.
Yeah,
though.
she put them back in the box. I mean, it is a nice box, honey. You should definitely keep that. That is a very nice
I
box.
know. It's got the little perforations where they stand up nicely. It's just so good.
You can probably even re-gift the box itself.
I could, but I'm probably not going to.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Keep it on the
fair.
refrigerator forever.
Just stays up there. Tea?
Mhm. Absolutely. So,
Come on
No.
in.
darlings, what are we gonna do today? What is the plan? Do we still like we? I mean, we're getting there, but I don't feel like we quite have everything we need.
Well, I mean, oh, I have a great idea. We can go to Greg's house because after our lovely lady here sent a mail to a grieving widow, she probably needs people to actually vent to.
That's
that
a
could be a
great idea.
Perfect place.
I was
to
hoping for a
start.
little B&E, but we can go ahead and pay
I'm
her a
good with
visit.
either one.
So are we going to
Okay.
cut to the front door or the bushes of the Greg Shipley estate?
Both.
I don't want to.
Let's throw a party.
Maud
We're
is a
party.
Split the
Yeah.
party.
yeah. I think Maud is the front door distraction, like without a doubt. There's, and I
I'll hide in
imagine
the
that
bushes.
I imagine
I'm
that
in the
Maud
bushes.
probably has the pink box with Elsie's cookies in them.
Oh, and okay. In that case, I'm gonna go with Maud because we need to like double distraction. We have to have
Yeah.
what's that called, a backup plan, right? So if
Mhm.
anything happens, I
Yes.
got your back, girl.
All right.
Me and Geraldine are gonna sneak around the back.
Oh yeah, we got this.
And this is one of the largest and older homes here in Brindlewood Bay. It's a little bit out of town. It's got a good acre of land, perfect landscaping. So finding a place to hide in the bushes, not at all too difficult. The front door is very grand. It's almost 8 foot tall, beautiful solid oak door.
And as we're walking up, Maud will say, you know, Macon and I, we considered buying this place when we first got in here, but I'll be honest with you, like there's a few things on the inside that just Macon was very peculiar, honey. I don't know why, but he had this very specific thing, and of course we bought this house, and well, I mean, I wasn't upset about it, but you know, this is not bad.
Jackie and Maud, you reach the front door. What are we doing?
Ring the doorbell. What else are you gonna do?
And it dung, dung, let's just echoing, large doorbell.
Did it always have that doorbell?
That sounds kind of new, honestly. That's a little ostentatious, if you ask me, as she adjusts her, you know, paid for boobs and.
And the door opens, and standing there is probably who you expected, which is the now widowed Amanda Shipley. Now, she is not nearly as famous as her late husband, but pretty well known. She is a marriage therapist. She has written a few books, not nearly the same success that Greg has had. A bit of a socialite. So she's at all of the fundraisers. She's a part of the dinner club, the tea club. She is very calm, high stature, very stoic, and surprisingly, considering what she does, she's very practical and somewhat emotionless. And so you get kind of her stone face as she's standing there, and she goes, Miss McAllister, Miss Smith, can
And
I help you?
And Maud turns on the charm and she goes, "Oh, Amanda, honey, I am so sorry." And she is already kind of like moving through the door, like grabbing her up in like a hug with the cookies and sort of moving out the door. I just can't listen, honey. I have been here a couple times. I understand how hard this is. We just wanted to make sure that you were doing okay. Listen, one widow to another. I know there's like so much adjust, and she's already like moved her to a chair, like she sat her down, like it's her house, right? She's got the cookies, and she's already like opened the cookies for her, like, and she just says, Jackie and I just wanted to come and make sure that everything was okay and make sure that you were doing just well and you understand that you are not alone in this town, that we appreciate everything that's going on, honey. And if you need to talk to us, then by all means, please just let us know. My daddy says I'm a good listener, and I mean, she's not let her word edgewise.
So Tornado Maud plows past poor Widow Shipley, and she's normally very stoic, very emotionless, but she kind of looks to you, Jackie, kind of the are you gonna help me out here kind of look on her face. I do need a day move for Maud because you are potentially in danger in this situation. So my question for you, Maud, is well, first of all, what attribute do you think this fits with? A day move with what?
Definitely presence.
I think so too. So I think it's going to be a day move with presence. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail this roll?
I'm actually I think Maud's a little bit afraid that if Amanda sort of like fully rejects this, that Maud is going to lose a little bit of her social standing.
Ooh, yeah, she is definitely high up on the social ladder, so I can definitely see that happening. All right, let's do that day move with presence.
All right. Come on, dice, be nice. That's a 7.
That's a good +1. At a 6, it's a fail. At a 7, it's a partial success. So surprisingly, she doesn't grab onto you and kind of escort you back out the door. She does look to you, Jackie, like,
Jackie holds up a gift box and she goes, "Congratulations or condolences?"
She pauses. Condolences.
Condolences. And she hands
and she takes them from you. Maud, I do want to give you a condition. I think that I'm going to give you the condition of Amanda is wary. So if you go ahead and mark that on your character sheet, Amanda is a little wary of you. I think it was a little too much, not enough for her to kick you out of the house, but she does kind of follow you into her own home to the study where you are, and Jackie is giving her the cookies. Let's cut to the bushes.
Okay.
As you hear the big oak door close.
Okay. Let's go ahead and make our move. Kind of didn't think this far through, honestly.
Right.
Didn't realize.
Let's just. I wonder if we could get into his office. A back door?
Oh,
wait.
Door.
A window.
A window. Office window.
Yes, we're gonna go looking for an office window.
Yes.
So you go from window to window. You can see just how well the Shipleys have done for themselves as you go there, but you finally recognize towards the back, because it has a large bay window and a kind of a normal window that could be opened next to that bay window. The bay window, you can see the writing desk where obviously Greg and his ghostwriter worked on his novel. You can see chess sets on tables. No question that this is Mr. Shipley's office, the late Mr. Shipley's office.
Okay,
Just try to open the window.
we're gonna try to open up the window.
Open the window.
Who's going in first?
Geraldine
Ooh.
absolutely will go in first and help
I will
Elsie in.
use my scrawny little arms to try to boost you into the window.
All right, Geraldine, I think this is going to be a night move. So what are you afraid is going to happen if you fail this roll?
Ooh, she's gonna come crashing down upon poor Elsie.
So it's actually worse than that.
All right.
Not only do I think you come crashing down, but I think you're going to land on Elsie as she's trying to help you up.
I'm here for it.
So what are we going to roll that with? We're going to do a night move with? I'm thinking vitality. What do you think?
Vitality works for me.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking vitality.
Ooh.
So that's a 5.
No.
So we see Geraldine kind of being hoisted up by Elsie. We see Geraldine, and we hear kind of the paint, right? That has kind of stuck the window because it hadn't been opened in a very long time. It had been painted. The frames have been painted since then. It comes, and you'd been putting so much strength and effort into it, Geraldine, that once it finally gives, you lose any sense of bearings, any sense of balance. You come crashing back. You fall directly on Elsie. At a minimum, I think you've sprained your elbow, but you have definitely cracked one of Elsie's ribs.
Yeah, I'll mark her crown.
So you mark a crown.
Gosh.
We see, and instead of falling backwards onto Elsie, you fall forwards into Greg's office. You come slamming down, and we're just going to sprain our arm. So give yourself a condition of sprained arm.
Oh no.
Elsie, without the surprise of the window just suddenly giving away, you have no trouble getting yourself inside of the office. With the two of you in the office, luckily the door is closed to the rest of the house. It overlooks the garden, which is where you were hiding. And now that you're standing in the office and looking through that bay window, you realize that he actually has a beautiful, beautiful view of the bay from his window. You can understand just why this house has been priced as much as it is. He has a huge wooden desk, a leather-bound chess set on the center of the desk. One that you'd be almost afraid to touch because it's worth so much. No doubt in my mind that Jackie's already noted it in her notebook.
Franklin Mint chess set.
There's a comfortable chair. There's walls lined with bookshelves. Let's paint the scene together. Now, most of the books on Greg's bookshelves are devoted to chess. There are a few books that you would never expect on his shelf, though. Which ones do each of you see that makes you think Greg was paranoid? Geraldine, what book did you see that made you think, oh my God, Greg was paranoid?
Oh, paranoid. It would have to be a book along the line of self-defense. How to protect yourself from a home invasion, specifically.
Ooh. For dummies.
Yeah,
He's alive, he would have stopped you.
no doubt about it.
Elsie, you notice that book, and that makes you go, boy, I wonder if Greg was kind of paranoid, but it's the second book you find that gets rid of any doubt in your mind that Greg was definitely paranoid. What book did you find?
It's going to be something about like the New World Order and the Illuminati and the Freemasons working together to institute a one world government, kind of.
Phenomenal. We cut to the study. Stoic Amanda is standing there, and she goes, I think I'm supposed to offer you coffee or tea. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Don't worry about it, honey. We came uninvited, unannounced.
Yes, you did.
Sit, be at ease. We just want to be here for you.
You're here.
Honey, I know it can be very hard right now, but like I said, I've been through this 4 times now, you know, and it doesn't get easier any time that you go for it, but the first time is especially hard, and you're still so very young, honey. I mean, you know, you've still got plenty of years ahead of you, so I just, if you need any advice, if you need to just get something off your mind, like I, we were there. Unfortunately, you know, we kind of saw like what happened, and we feel so bad for you, honey.
This is definitely sounds like a meddling move to me. I think you're trying to dig here a little bit, Maud.
Maybe a
Oh,
little.
let's do a meddling move. What are we
Uh,
using?
I think this time I am going to use composure. I think she's trying to like, she knows now that Amanda is weary of her, so she's
Mhm.
trying to like bring things back to a more like comfortable place.
So we'll do it with composure, but I need you to mark this a disadvantage. So you're going to roll 3 dice and take the 2 lowest.
Disadvantage, meddling move, composure. Ah,
At a
still
disadvantage,
good.
you still got
Still
an
need
8.
it. Still an 8.
So that is going to give us a clue. She says, I appreciate it. I hate that you had to see that. I'm sure that was very traumatic. If you need any references, I know several therapists that could potentially help you with that trauma. Now, I can't remember, Maud. Have you already planned your next wedding? Do you have any pre-vows counseling that I could potentially help for to pay you back for this wonderful visit of yours?
Yes, tell us about your new garden boy.
Oh, you know what? I think I might have set him up with our Nora just today. Let me tell you what, she is the sweetest thing. And like, listen, if I was still your age, Amanda, I would have climbed that hole in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? But well, honestly, the old ticker just isn't quite what it used to be anymore. And I bet you he would just have way too much energy for me. But it might be time for Miss Maud to not think too much about. I mean, 4 times is enough, don't you think, honey?
Well, I can tell you, Miss Maud, there's studies that have been going on in Harvard. I, of course, have been helping with those studies that show that really it can be good for your health and bring you great longevity for you to find a vital, vibrant, and virile young man to spend time with. By no means does that mean you need to have any form of intercourse, but just spending time with him could be helpful. Now, it's my understanding that Miss Smith, I think Sheriff Dalrymple mentioned to me at one point how close the two of you are. By any chance, are you going to see him today?
I saw him this morning. Do you need something?
Well, I found a set of keys that I thought he might find interesting on Greg's desk. And if you don't mind, would you mind taking these keys and bringing them to him and let him know where it was found?
I know that they're in the office, so you know, I don't know if I'll be there. I'll be able to do that today. You might have better luck taking them down yourself. I have something important to take care of. I cleared my schedule just to come visit you, but I do have to get back to work.
So you had time to make it all the way up here and to give me these. And she kind of looks at the cookies and just kind of sets them back.
Oh, oh,
She
so good.
goes, look, I've got a lot to do. I think I'm supposed to be planning a wake or a funeral or something. I'm sure he's got a will. Um, look, just, and she reaches into her pocket and pulls the keys out and she goes, do me a favor. Just please take these keys and give it to the sheriff.
Oh, they're on you. Absolutely. I'll just.
So you grab those keys. This is a capital C clue.
Mhm.
You look at those keys as you take them from her and you put them into your pocket and you notice that on the keychain it has Warehouse 23 engraved on it. You know that that's a warehouse down at the pier where they store the floats used during the parade. So the capital C clue is keys found on Greg's desk to the warehouse where they store the floats. Let's cut to, speaking of Greg's desk, our two mavens.
Let's dig through his desk real quick.
Yeah.
It's gonna look real fast.
So Elsie, you start
No,
digging through
no,
the
no.
desk. What's Geraldine doing?
I'm gonna toss it.
I'm going to go through any other drawers he has set up in the room and lock the door just in case.
So you go there and you lock the door. You're going through kind of all of the different bookshelves, and there's drawers and stuff under that. Elsie, you're going through Greg's desk. I definitely need 2 meddling moves. I need one from each of you. Let's start with you, Geraldine. What are you using here to meddle?
I'm going to use reason because she's like, maybe there's like a hidden door behind the bookshelf or something.
And what I'm thinking is, that's a lot of activity, right? Reaching up for this, pulling out that. So I think, unfortunately, your condition is going to affect you a little bit. So let's use reason. But I think that the physical strain is going to be a little bit. So I'm going to need that at a disadvantage. So if you'll do a meddling move at disadvantage using reason, please. It's not going to. If you roll that third dice, it's not going to help you.
I will. Yeah.
Damn it.
Now you have the option of using a crown.
Oh my gosh. I will save a crown.
Okay, you've already used 1 crown, so we're going to save it. All right.
I will save it.
So Geraldine is making a bit of a mess, kind of somewhat picking up after herself, maybe a little too comfortable about treating it almost like she lives here. We cut to Elsie, though. Elsie, you're going through Greg's desk. You're also going to do a meddling move. What are we using?
Okay. I think it would probably be reason. Searching
Let's
for
do a meddling move
things.
using the old noggin. That is a straight up 8. That is a partial success. So you're going through the desk, opening it up, closing this here, pulling that, pulling this. And as you pull out the left-hand drawer, there's a pile of papers, and you notice that it's a pile of blank papers, like typewriter paper, right? Like you would put into a typewriter. And as you're kind of digging through that, you realize that there's a bound book at the bottom. It's spiral bound. And you grab that book and you pull it out, and you can see that this is actually a script. And it's a script for a movie about the life story of Greg. Now, this movie has not been made, but someone has written a script about a movie.
Put it in my massive bag.
Yeah, about Greg. So that's another capital C clue. Ladies, we have currently 7 clues on a complexity 6. If we get to a theorized move at any point right now, you'd be at a +1. But by no means, that may be not enough, right? The more clues we get, the better off your theorized roll is going to be. But that was a partial success, Elsie. You grab that book, you put it in your purse, you go to that center drawer, and you pull it out. And all 4 of you hear, beep, 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 beep. That was alarmed.
Go.
We cut to Maud and Jackie. She goes, "What? That's an alarm. That alarm is in Greg's desk. Ladies, I apologize. I need to attend to that. See if something has fallen in Greg's office. You'll have to excuse me."
No. It could be an intruder. We can't do that. Sit down. Where's your phone?
On the wall.
Don't move. I'm going to call the sheriff.
I think I really should check what's happening here. Yes, please. You go call the sheriff.
Have you thought about what will happen if it's an intruder? Do you take a lot of self-defense classes in your therapy?
I need a day move, Jackie. Jackie, what are we using to try to contain Miss Amanda?
Okay, I think in this case it's actually reason. I'm trying to like
I could see that.
reason with her, right? Don't
Yeah.
throw your life away. What if it's an intruder?
She's coming up with reasons why she needs to go in. You're out thinking her to explain to her why that's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea, and that's also a terrible idea. Your conditions don't impact this at all, so it's going to be a straight day move. But
Woo!
what were you going to be afraid was going to happen if you failed this?
Well, of course, the big thing is her going back there and discovering the other half of our Maven team just rifling through the deceased dearly departed's goods.
And she finally lets out a huge sigh. And she goes, "Fine. I guess you're gonna, you know what?" And she hangs up the phone and she goes, "You're gonna see Dalrymple anyway. I need to head down to the market, so I can get the help to take care of this alarm. Just tell the sheriff that the alarm went off again. I'm tired of this. It was bad enough when he's alive. Now I have to be reminded.
Does it go
when
off
he's dead."
frequently?
It does. It does. My husband was good at two things, neither of which were installing alarms. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and head out. Real quick reminder, Jackie, you rolled an 11. If you'd like, you could put on a crown and upgrade that to a 12 and potentially get a void clue to the overall mystery. Does that interest you at all?
That does interest me. I haven't done a crown yet. How does
All right.
remind me how the crowns work?
So on the left-hand side, you've got two sets of crowns. In this case, you're marking a crown to get a void clue. So you have access to all the crowns, both the top set, which is the banal history there, and then some of the darker crowns at the bottom. You're welcome to any of them. You can use one crown each for the extent of being a maven. So you want to use them judiciously, but this could be a great time to get yourself a void clue.
Ooh. Yeah, okay. I'll put on a crown. Give me a void clue.
So she kind of like starts to kind of push you out the door, trying to be polite. She's not very good at this. And Jackie, as she's pushing you out, you're taking inventory for just the sake to see if Greg had picked up anything else since the last time you were here in the house and did an inventory. Checking out some of the end. He has a new end table. You can see some bookends there in the main foyer that are new, and you're taking record of that. And then you see the mirror, and that mirror is definitely new. The engravings around the edge of this mirror is almost like 3 or 4 foot tall. The glass is kind of foggy. You can tell it's an antique by just the quality of the glass and how it's aged. The engravings are really nice. And as you're looking at it, you see, of course, the reflection of what's behind you. What is surprising is, even though it's a perfect duplicate image, what's surprising is the blood running down the walls behind you.
I check the wall and I look over at Maud and I'm like,
Yeah.
You turn around, the walls are perfectly fine. You turn back, and the blood is running farther. We see Jackie looking backwards and forwards. Maud, you don't know what the hell is going on. I need a night move from Jackie. Jackie, what are you afraid is going to happen if you fail this night move as you see blood through that mirror coming down the wall behind you?
well, I think my biggest fear here is that I am becoming a little paranoid myself. That I'm starting to lose it a little bit because I'm looking to Maud for confirmation that like she also sees this, and apparently she doesn't. So there's a part of me that is concerned that something has gone awry.
Yeah, I think if you fail this, you're definitely going to become a little bit more paranoid. I mean, this is your second time now encountering something really odd, because that happened to you at the parade as well. We saw that figure that just blipped out of existence, but it's worse than that. Not only are you going to be a little bit more paranoid, but you are going to do everything in your ability to avoid mirrors. So you're going to be generally paranoid and deathly afraid of mirrors. Now, unfortunately, your condition is known to the conspiracy.
Mhm.
So I'm going to need a night move
Mhm.
with composure and
Mhm.
a disadvantage because of that condition.
Oh.
How do I change it to? Oh, I see. Disadvantage, night move, and composure. Oh, oh no.
Whew.
It's good. It's good, right? It's good.
Yeah, it's so
Oh.
good.
Very good.
It's so
It's
good.
okay. It's okay.
That's great.
How are you able to keep your composure in this situation?
So I think there's a moment where I'm looking and I'm not getting that confirmation that I'm not crazy, and so I'm looking, and then I get that little voice in the back of my head. It's like, this is ridiculous. There's nothing there. Get your shit together, and then I just turn around.
And how are you feeling, Jackie, after this? Between these two really odd things that have happened over a period of 2 days, how are you feeling right now?
It's that little itching feeling at the back of your skull that something's wrong and something's not normal, but it's not so it isn't yet built to a point where like it's unavoidable. So she's rationalizing it. I didn't sleep well last night. I just didn't take my medication this morning. It's fine. Everything's fine.
All right. So with that partial success, I'm going to have you pick up a second condition. That second condition is the world normal? Question mark.
Ooh.
And I think as they're like being pushed out, Maud will look at Jackie and go, "Honey, do you need to go back in there and get one of the Valiums that she is clearly taking? Because you look like a rabbit that has seen a hawk shadow. Are you all right?"
Do you have spare Valium?
If you'd like to make an appointment, I potentially could prescribe it, but
I thought we were friends. Never mind. I can't have it on the record.
Cutting back to the alarm going off in Greg's office.
Okay. I'm going to do one thing first before we leave out this window. I want to take the king and queen chess pieces.
Yes, I was gonna
Ooh.
grab a pawn
Ooh.
as well. So you grab. Can we each grab one king and
Yes.
one queen? Yes, yes.
Wow.
You have
I
this
love
Jackie
that. That's
voice.
where both of our brains went.
The
Steal
little
a
Jackie
piece.
voice in the back of your head is you're devaluing that chess
Right.
set.
Exactly.
Those pieces.
Exactly.
But then Jackie thinks, wait a minute, if it's incomplete, I could get it at auction much cheaper, and then I could buy the cheap pieces back from Geraldine and Elsie.
Great work, girls.
We see those gold pieces fall into pockets and fall into purses as the two of you escape outside of the house.
Giggling the whole way.
The long drive, at the end of the long drive, the two of you find Jackie and Maud.
Oh, God damn it.
We set off an alarm.
No, we couldn't tell.
Well, it wasn't a problem. Don't worry about it. We took care of it.
Yeah.
Did great.
Field trip?
You did great.
And she like waves the keys.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
So are we going to go to the pier?
Yes.
We're going to go
I'm
to the
gonna
warehouse.
go do a little
district.
crystal waving
Mhm.
first.
Oh yeah, that place
We're-
is definitely
Just to
haunted.
kind of clear our chakras before we leave this.
It'll be
place.
mid-afternoon at the warehouse district of the pier. But let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break before we get there. We'll be back in 10 minutes.
Ah.
So I'm imagining we can smell the afternoon salt air. And this is separated and distant from the kind of the touristy part of the bay, right? So where all the fishing expeditions go, or farther, almost on the other side of the bay. The long pier, the tourist pier is over on, and you can see it from where you are. The warehouse district, most of the warehouses are empty, which is why the town has really decided to use one of them to store the St. Patrick's Day floats. I'm going to have you at the door at warehouse 23, halfway between, or right in the middle, kind of an alley between an abandoned warehouse and this warehouse 23. And of course, I believe it is you, Jackie, that has the key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, just going right up to the lock. And
so you slide it into the lock and it turns and clicks. You pull the door open. And as bright as it is here midday in Brindlewood Bay, because these two warehouses are right on top of each other, the sun isn't quite making it into the alleyway where you are. So even though it's not dark as night, it's darker than when you look out to where the bay and the ocean is itself. And when you open up this door, it is pitch dark inside.
anybody got a flashlight? This is not natural.
I think Maud has made them stop on the way and get sandwiches, or something. So she has like a cup, with a drink, and she's like loudly like slurping the ends of it, just making that awful noise it makes when it gets, when the straw gets to the end. And she just kind of looks in there and she's into the dark, and she goes, I don't want to go in there first.
Geraldine's like, I'll see if there's a light switch.
I'll reach in my giant bag and pull out a Zippo.
We have fire.
The Zippo comes on, lights up the faces of all four of you, and as Elsie kind of takes the lead and pushes that Zippo ahead of her, pulling into there.
You find the light switch.
You find the light switch, and it's that clink, and you hear the fluorescents that are hanging from the ceiling, and they kind of flash on and off, kind of giving this rave type effect on the warehouse. Finally, they all settle and turn on themselves, and the warehouse is a good 30-foot tall. You can see in the center of the warehouse where the boat slip is, where you could have actually pull a boat in to this warehouse. And this is obviously was a warehouse used to store boats at some point, but there are no boats in here. You get the faint smell of gasoline, probably a leftover from when maybe they fueled the boats here, but all around the slip in the center where you can smell the bay, where you can see the water, you see every one of the floats that you saw just yesterday at the St. Patrick's Day parade. And on the far side, you see the float closest to the main warehouse door. Now, it's a reasonable guess that the amount of protocols that the sheriff used to seal this crime scene doesn't look to have happened at all. It just got pulled into here and it's stored there. But I want to paint the scene. As we're looking at all of these floats, there's one float that all four of you notice, and it's stored here for the parade. And it was at the parade yesterday. And what I want to know from each of you is, why did the town council vote to stop that float from ever being in the parade again? The vote failed, but there was a vote last year that this float should never be used in the St. Patrick's Day parade. Who can tell me first one thing about that float?
It's got a big giant bottle of Guinness, and the council is kind of they're not detailed, they're not like completely like anti-alcohol, but they don't super approve of this giant like can of Guinness. Like, setting on, right there.
So it's a huge can of Guinness, and these are all, God bless Brindlewood Bay. They're all do-it-yourself. I mean, the old pot of gold that dumped out Greg Shipley onto the street was made out of paper mache with these little fake, cheap dollar store gold coins on top of it. What else about that Guinness float made the town council put up a vote to potentially ban it from ever being used in the parade in the future?
I think in the back there's a giant word that says "Kiss me, I'm Irish."
And that was too provocative for the council.
It was a bit too provocative for the council, and they were like, "This is a no-go."
No, we're not encouraging kissing.
So the can of Guinness, okay, that's encouraging drinking, and there's some prudes potentially on the town council that said we don't need to be parading big cans of Guinness through the town, let alone the fact that it says "Kiss me, I'm Irish" on it. But someone else came up to make the case for voting against it. And what did they bring up about this float, Elsie?
It has a really racist depiction of a leprechaun.
So
Like if
there's this-
they
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So I'm imagining like this 2-dimensional cardboard leprechaun
Giving a huge jaw.
with plastic potatoes under its feet and holding whiskey in one hand and a small can of Guinness in the other, and cartoon bubbles coming up from its
Cabbage
mouth.
around his
And
feet.
cabbage. So there were some Irish members of Brindlewood Bay that said
That's right.
that's offensive.
That's fun.
And though the vote failed, and this float will be in next year's parade, Jackie, there was one more thing that almost caused that vote to fail. And what was the last thing that made that float on the cutting room?
I think that it had offended enough people that they tried to actively sabotage it. So it has repairs done hastily to put it back together after it was, broken and vandalized. So it's like it's got very blatant like duct tape patches on it, and it's just barely holding together.
On the side, I'm imagining on the side, someone had spray painted something and it's been just sloppily painted over green, even though the rest of the thing isn't green. They figured we got to use green paint to cover that as well. We are in the warehouse, and after passing along the fact of maybe they should have voted to not use that float next year, what are the 4 Mavens going to do?
All right, Murder Mavens. Let's go to the murder float.
Murder floats. Is that working? They're going to call it next year?
I think that's the only thing we can actually call it.
We should sponsor that one next year.
The murder float.
I am down for sponsoring that next year.
I'm in. Sponsored by the Crow and Quill. Let's go check it out.
Yes. Is it too much if candy and like a fake skeleton pops out of it as well?
I like the way you think, Geraldine.
Because if it helps, Amanda doesn't even come to these things, so I think we're good.
She'll be fine.
She wouldn't be caught dead on the side of the street watching a parade. Are you kidding me? Oh.
Of course not.
So the 4 of you work your way around through the floats, working your way to the other side of this warehouse. The lights are on, but there's a lot of shadows. There's that bay smell that permeates through it. And as you're kind of working your way through, there's little sharp edges and corners on all of these floats because there's no OSHA, there's no safety standards put together as they've cobbled together these floats that have been used for the last several decades. But you finally reach what was probably going to be forever known as the murder float.
I want to snoop around and look for like signs of struggle or anything interesting, because at some point the body had to get into, and it probably happened here.
So because this was the last float, where it's parked right now, Jackie, is where it would always be parked, right? They would
Mhm.
they would purposely put them in order. And as you notice as you go around, that they are in order, the order in which you watch them that day. So where the float is right now is where it was stored for the entire year before it was pulled out yesterday for the parade. So are we going to look around the float or look at what's the surrounding area around the float? Give me a sense of where Jackie is focused.
I'm looking around. I think I'm looking around the float for anything that like looks like it got rifled, messed about, strewn about. I'm also looking around to see if there's any good old CCTV little cameras, hanging out.
So the other three mavens may be focused on the murder float. Jackie's taking a step back, it sounds like, and saying, hey, if we know what happened on the float, we need to figure out what happened around the float, right? How did the body get in there? So let's do a meddling move, Jackie. What are we using to kind of poke around here and look for clues?
This is gonna be another reason, I think.
That makes sense to me too. So let's do a meddling move with reason.
Okay, is this a day move or night move?
Oh, definitely. No, it's a meddling move. So you should see
Oh,
that. On your
meddling.
list
Oh,
of
it's a
moves.
whole new. Oh, it's a new
Yeah.
button.
Yeah. For those of you watching, there's the most common. You know what? You still had
Disadvantage.
disadvantage. Didn't matter. That's
Whoop.
good. So the three moves you're going to hear most often in Brindlewood Bay are the meddling move, which is when the mavens are poking around, trying to interrogate somebody, looking for clues, meddling in the murder. Then you have the day move and the night move, and things are more dangerous at night, but the night move can be used during the day. We saw that. This is when the mavens are potentially doing something that can put them into danger. With a day move, they're in a little bit of danger. With a night move, they're in a lot of danger. But here for meddling, no day or night move needed. This is a strict meddling move. With a success, we've got a 10. Now, go ahead, Geraldine.
Technically, she would have a 13 because she rolled with disadvantage instead of normal. I'm not sure how you would want to do that.
You know what? I'm good with that. Because
Okay.
it appears Jackie likes her some void clues.
Well, Jackie, she's gonna
I'm
go crazy
amassing
first.
them. That's right.
So Jackie, you start
Sorry,
looking
Jackie.
around and you see that there's a second door right next to the door where the float is. So it's a complete mirror image to the door you came in from.
Mhm.
And as you're looking around, you pull a couple boxes open that are there. You notice that maybe there was some sort of struggle here, but it's hard to tell whether someone was just being clumsy as they were putting the float back. But you find a garbage bag. You see a garbage bag just kind of hastily tied up, and you can tell that whoever had this garbage bag had kind of stuffed it behind some of the trash cans by that front door.
Oh, we're getting in there. I mean, very carefully. There could be something gross in there.
You pull the trash bag open, and as you open the trash bag and look inside, what you see is a bunch of fit forks. And as you pick up the first fit fork and click the little button to turn it on, it doesn't turn on. And you grab another fit fork and you see one of the prongs is broken. And as you start peeling through all these different fit forks, you realize that there's easily 30 or 40 defective fit forks that have been collected and thrown into this trash bag. So that's going to be another capital C clue, which is a trash bag full of defective fit forks. Ladies, we are now at 8 capital C clues. I do want to know what Geraldine, Elsie, and Maud are doing.
I think Maud is looking to the water, to the boat slip as is coming, and looking for signs that maybe there's been some activity there.
Now, this is important, Maud, because standing by the water, you're completely sober, so I'm not worried about you losing your balance or anything, but it's going to be hard to really get a good view of the water. And I think in order for you to get a good view of that water, you're going to have to do something you say you don't do anymore. And you said very clearly in episode 1 you don't get on your knees anymore. So are you going to get on your knees to get a clear look at the bay water in the slip?
She's gonna look around and make sure the other three aren't watching, and then yes, she's gonna she's gonna like she's got some very fashionable like nice satin pants on, and she's gonna kind of look at those and sigh, and then I kind of get down and take a look. I heard Gerald was he owned himself a couple boats, and he fancied himself a man of the water, a man of the sea. So she picked up a thing or two, along the way. So she's just interested to see if anybody's been bringing boats in or out, because that would be an easy way to get a body in here without anybody noticing.
Good point. Now, quick question. I can't quite remember off the top of my head what cozy items are in your cozy little place. Could any of those potentially get you an advantage as you are looking at this boat slip area?
The
answer can be no.
I don't think so. Not on this one.
Okay. Let's do a meddling move. What are we using, Maud, for this meddling move?
We're gonna use reason for this. I think she is using her brain, putting some brain power into it.
All right, let's go ahead and do it.
Okay. So we're gonna roll a meddling move, you said?
Meddling move using reason.
Using reason. Ooh, that's okay.
Luckily, you have +1 reason, so that is going to put you from a 6 to a 7. So that is going to be a partial success. Maud, it's been a while. God bless you. You get down on your knees and you're looking at the water, and the water is just slowly just waving and lapping up against the edge of the boat slip. And from where you are, you could easily reach your hand down and touch the water if you need to, and you have no interest in that, the bay water, except there seems to be a couple pieces of paper that are floating right at the edge, right next to where you are.
Yeah, I think she will reach down once again, like looking to make sure nobody else is really watching, and like try to fish those out.
So you grab those sheets of paper and you start looking at them, and it's a bit of a puzzle, right? Because there's like 7 different pieces, but you quickly, as you pick these pieces up, you realize this definitely is whatever it was about the size of a business card. And we see Maud start to piece together and put this business card back together again. And as you look at it and the pieces start to come together, you see this is a membership card to the Brindlewood Bay Chess Club for Greg Shipley, and it's been torn into several pieces and thrown into the water. That is going to now be our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th clue for Complexity 6 mystery. I still have Elsie and Geraldine. Oh, partial success.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to save that, Maud. Give me a second to think about it. There is going to be a consequence here. I'm not sure what it is. Actually, I know exactly what it is. The door was closed on the other side, Maud, and we hear the creak as the door starts to open.
Oh shit.
You can put on a crown to upgrade that roll. That would give you just a pure success.
I think we still got a couple more each time, so I think we will do that. We'll put on a crown.
Okay, mark yourself a crown. We'll get to it at the end of the session. So that means we're full success, and whoever it was trying to creak that door open, apparently they changed their mind and they close it, and you hear it lock from the outside. Elsie.
Okay, I am gonna go up to the actual bowl, and I'm just gonna look like under the edge of it and like down the inside, the inside of the bowl itself to see if there's anything in there.
You kind of get yourself up onto the float, and how tall is Elsie?
Oh, she's like 5 feet.
So you get there, and Elsie, you have no trouble just kind of going around the huge pot of gold and looking at the edges and things like that. And you can tell that it's somebody, and it was probably Sheriff Dalrymple, because he doesn't know any better. He should have left it the way it was, but no, he put it back upright again. It'd been nice if it was back when the body spilled out, but it's back upright. You have no trouble looking around the edges. It's going to be a little difficult to look inside. So I do want to get a sense, is Elsie also going to try to lift herself up to look inside, or are we just going to focus on the outside?
Yeah, just enough to kind of like peek downward. Just want to see if we can tell maybe where he was put in or dumped or anything along those lines.
Let's go ahead and do a day move first before we do our meddling move. And I'm going to want that with vitality.
Vitality.
What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail this?
Ooh. I will probably bust my nose on the lip of the bowl.
You didn't fail it. So you're able to lift yourself up, push on there. As you're looking down, we're going to do the meddling move in a second. Whoever closed that door and locked it has changed their mind. We can hear them unlocking the door, Elsie. You have a couple seconds here. Let's do that meddling move. What are you meddling with here? What attribute?
Probably with reason, because I'm trying to see. Right?
Let's do it.
To see if I can tell where he was dumped in. Okay.
With the +1, that gives you a 7.
7.
That's good. So as you are there, you can hear the door opening. You look on there, and anybody else looking in here would have just seen the remnants of those dollar store cheapo gold coins that are kind of at the bottom that didn't completely spill out, but remained when they put it back upright again. But you see something stuck to the inside, just as where your fingers are, and you pull that little sheet of paper out, and it's kind of sticky. Maybe that's just some of the duct tape that's used to kind of form the inside of this pot of gold. And it's a handwritten note, and all that's written on it in cursive, it says, "Meet me at Warehouse 23 at 4 a.m. before the parade."
At what time?
At 4 a.m. before the parade. Written in cursive. The door is opening, ladies. We've got...
Ladies, come on. The creepy door. We're going to go sneak through the creepy door that appeared for no good reason.
Poor Maud looks over at Geraldine and says, "Honey, please, can you help me up?"
I see you're on your knees, huh?
I was looking for clues.
She out going over to help you up.
Geraldine, you help him up. I'm going to give you a moment here as the four of you are headed towards that door to try to get out. No idea who's coming through that door. Is there anything you wanted to do as the others were poking around?
She actually wanted to look at the front of the float to see if there was anything kind of out of place.
So this is going to be the front of the float that would have attached the second part of the float. And we still see the balloon string that formed that rainbow, right? So we had the leprechaun children on the second to last float, and then this balloon, this rainbow made of balloons that went from that float all the way to the last float. And Geraldine is kind of, as everybody's scooting around, you stop for a moment and you start to meddle and start to take a look. Is there anything here going on at the front of the float? Let's do a meddling move.
All right.
I'm not going to bring your sprained elbow into this. I think you're okay. So let's do this. Make sure you mark it don't leave it with disadvantage. What are we using?
Reason.
I'm good with that. Let's do a meddling move with reason.
Okay.
Reason ain't a lot today.
Yeah, and these +1s have been paying off. So that 6 becomes a 7 because of the +1 you have in reason. That's going to be a partial success. Yeah. You, as the 3 Mavens ahead of you, get to that door. No trouble unlocking it from the inside, of course. They start to open it. The door creaks open. you're kind of looking around the front of this, and there's a folder right by your feet. And instinctively, you don't even think about it. You're racing to get there. You grab this manila folder. You head out. The consequence is going to be Jackie makes it out. Elsie makes it out. Maud makes it out. But the person that came in through that door ID'd you, Geraldine, before you made it out. So I'm going to give you a consequence, which is the wharf master thinks you did it. So add the wharf master thinks you did it to your list of conditions.
I'm going to use my Maven move to not have that happen.
What's your Maven move?
So my move is B.A. Baracus. I can describe what happens instead so that Geraldine can avoid having been confronted. So that would have happened, except as the door opened, Jackie was still waiting in the doorway to try and get her through. So as the door opened, Jackie picked up something that was nearby, like some leftover flour from making paste, and she hurls this ball of flour at the door, and it explodes in his face. And he just gets a face full of flour, and then like there's a cloud, and then we vanish through the creepy door.
It's kind of like the Batman ninja move, where it's like poof. And we see the old man wharf master walk in as he takes it and inhales this paper mache flour dust, and the four of you make it outside. Geraldine, you open up that manila folder, and inside there, let's see, I gotta make sure I've got my clues in order here. You guys are collecting clues left and right.
Killing
Inside that manila folder are blueprint plans for the murder float. So somebody left a manila folder near there that had the actual blueprint plans that were used to build the murder folder.
This is the messiest villain.
Ladies, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 clues for complexity 6. I'm going to cut us to the Crow and Quill, which has been closed all day. And the scene is we have cleared away a table that had the display of a recent bestseller. Of course, it was not one of the Gold Crown mysteries, because we would leave that displayed with reverence. That's some other author, some other book. And Elsie has cleared that away. We've got all of our clues on the table. I think it's time to start talking about who the hell killed Greg Shipley. Well, what can happen now is I'm going to ask our Mavens, the four of them, they have suspects, they have clues, and they are going to figure out who killed Greg Shipley. And every clue they can use to justify their conclusion will potentially mitigate the role. It's complexity 6. If they can come up with 6 clues that fit this suspect, they will roll a straight theorized move. If they can do 7, they'll get a +1. If they can only do 5, it'll be at a -1. But they've got a lot of clues to work with. You don't have to use them all.
Does anyone feel super strongly about a suspect? Because I have one.
I possibly have one as well.
I do as well.
I might have one as well. Yeah.
Let's find out. Who wants to start?
That's
I can start. I think it's
Come on,
Miss
Jackie.
Cakes.
okay. Me.
Who?
I think it's Miss Cakes. I think we're I think Jolene Cakes is the
Cakes.
is my top suspect here.
Mhm.
We've seen
Only
a lot of
woman would
Have
have that
Jolene-
many forks.
So Jolene
Yeah.
Cakes is former chess master. The reason she's not a chess master anymore is well known. It's because Greg Shipley beat her and made her lose her title. He also has been a bit of a rival for her through all of this. And when he stepped away from running the chess club, she immediately stepped in to become the new chess club master. So what makes what's the case? Because it looks like Jackie and Maude have decided that it's Miss Jolene Cakes. I think you need to make the case to the other two.
Well, who did they think? Who was your suspect?
So Jolene is second on my list. My first
Same.
is I think it's Gordon.
Ooh. So Gordon Thune, he is the banker. And how is he tied to Greg Shipley? Well, a couple reasons. One, he financed the Fit Fork. So he's the one that signed off on the loan that financed the original production run of the Fit Fork. So he was integral in the beginnings of the Fit Fork, which made Greg Shipley a ton of money. But even more scandalously, he was dating Amanda when Greg met her. And Greg very quickly swept Amanda off of her cold, stoic feet. And they married. So he is the ex-boyfriend of Amanda Shipley. All right. Elsie, where are you? We've got two strong suspects here.
I think it's Danny Walsh, the biographer.
Interesting. So this is the young Danny Walsh. She works for the local newspaper. She was the ghostwriter for Greg Shipley's biography, a bestseller.
And perhaps screenplay as well.
Perhaps screenplay. That screenplay was signed.
Might have been writing to sell without her backup.
All right, so Elsie is making the case for one clue, which is that when she looked at that screenplay, it was signed by Greg Shipley. There was no indication that our writer and biographer Danny Walsh was participated in the creating of that screenplay. Where are we? We got to start piecing some clues together. Let's make the case.
I have a question for you, Craig. Can there only be one killer?
Ooh.
So we do need to come up with one primary. Okay. We can to help justify some other clues, we could have someone be an accessory. But we have to pin it on somebody who is going to be, the Mavens are going to say they killed Greg Shipley. They were helped by this other person, and we can use that to justify the clues, and they would be an accessories to murder, but only one person killed Greg Shipley.
So in that case, I am actually leaning more towards the biographer with the help of Jolene. And this is why
a little bit more.
And this is why I think here too.
Oh, wait. Elsie says she can back it up a little bit more. Let's hear it, Elsie.
Okay.
I think I can. So we've got the restraining order against Greg by Danny Walsh when she found out that he was trying to steal her intellectual property. Okay. We have the check for $1,200 written to Danny Walsh for payment as a ghostwriter on his biography. Right? Okay. I had some more as well too. Hang on, I've got them. We found the script. We've got
just
that.
real quick, Elsie. So for those of you watching, there's purposefully unambiguous aspects of many of these clues that each of these Mavens can interject into the fiction, right? So right now, Elsie is saying that check was made out to Danny. It's possible one of the other Mavens can make that check made out to somebody else, right? It's until we finalize who the killer is that they're going to do that. But Elsie's making the case.
I was starting to lean towards Gordon after I started, because I thought, it was like, you know what, that pot was really high, and a girl lifting a big, like, dead weight is not a joke, a big body like that would be impossible. But now that it's possible that we're thinking it could be two girls, that could work too.
For how to tilt it with the blueprints, right?
And the reason,
and then the card, you deserved this because he was stealing her writing. I'm just saying that's 5.
And we know that Jolene was helping because Jolene was able to fudge the attendance records. We see where Jolene has
to prove you said he was there.
Right. She has changed the attendance records to show that Greg was there.
How does that help with the murder?
Because that gives us a motive away to say, oh well, it couldn't have been Danny because
she
yeah.
has Danny written in
'Cause
as
she was
attending the chess
there,
club
Mhm.
Yes.
as an alibi. Very
Yes, she's an
interesting.
alibi.
Ooh,
And then
And
she
then-
figured out that the forks were shit and found all the defective ones and dropped them as kind of a screw you kind of way, a bag full of defective fit forks.
And Jolene
to not only
as
kill
a-
him but kill his legacy.
Yeah, and Jolene as a
Yes.
farewell, just kind of F you, ripped his card up and threw it into the bay. We also know that Jolene
I
is
like it.
smart enough and meticulous enough to be able to get the blueprints for the murder vote.
She had
Where's
and
Jacqueline?
Danny
Boy.
working as the newspaper. She could have access to pulling those records as well.
Elsie and Maud are pulling these clues and sliding them along the table, and they're making the case. Jackie and Geraldine, are we going to make the case for somebody else, or are we thinking this is Jolene? Well, no, we're thinking this is Danny, maybe assisted by
Danny.
Jolene. Where are we, Jackie and Geraldine? I want to hear from Geraldine.
Okay. I like
I'm
the way
willing
that
to
you're
listen.
going. I like the way that you're going. Hear me out.
Yeah. Yes.
Just hear me out. Gordon 100% was propositioned from Danny to commit this murder.
Oh, so you think Danny hired
okay.
Gordon, or proposition,
Yes.
or enticed Gordon? But Gordon, so Gordon is the killer. How is Gordon? What clues make you think Gordon's the killer?
So the voided check, because the voided check and the trash bags of fit forks, Gordon financed his company, Gordon financed Greg's company. Greg got extremely rich off defective everything, which in turn would make Gordon seem like he is financing things that can't work out. Where we know
Mhm.
Gordon is extremely high up in the social ladder, and he will be more likely angry for that to happen.
And we made it clear that Gordon is very well off, right? Because remember, Jackie, you
Yes.
checked him out from
Yeah.
top to bottom, right? Is he pretending to be well off, or is he dressed well off? You checked every detail on him, and Gordon is doing well for himself. And I could definitely see in a small town like Brindlewood Bay that if it comes out that Gordon is not a trustworthy person, and maybe he fudged some few things and ignored a few broken fit forks, then maybe that could hurt his standing
yeah.
as the head of lending. Okay, I'm with
Yeah.
you. I'm smoking what
And-
you're growing. Keep going.
We did
So-
actually find that bestseller, right? That was in Gordon's.
The book. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny,
So what
Yeah.
chapter was torn out?
a chapter that Danny written word for word.
Okay.
Yes.
Danny,
Okay.
I think, gifted Gordon this more as fuel to the fire. Like, not only is he a liar and a cheat, he stole your wife, but he's now trying to screw us all over.
So Danny's just throwing kindling at Gordon, right? And just
Kindling
getting
at
Gordon
Gordon.
all worked up. So Danny doesn't have to do it. Gordon's the one that's gonna kill Greg. Okay.
Now, I think Danny is smart enough to have planted evidence. So you deserve it, Greg, in a trash can at the phone cafe, to potentially pin it on one of the members there, and also the ripped up membership card that belonged to Greg.
Both of those things definitely point to the chess club, right? As being at the center of this
Yeah.
potential murder. And if Danny is as good as what she does, she's an acclaimed writer at the Brindlewood Bay newspaper.
Mhm.
She is the writer of a best-selling biography. She's no stupid lady. So she's gonna cover her tracks. All right, I'm with you.
We have the script about Greg's life that she potentially was also working on with him, but until she filed the restraining order against him to stop giving him more of her hard-earned money without any say. She was tired of being a ghostwriter.
So maybe Greg, maybe we don't see Danny's name on there. Maybe we even on the script see Danny's name erased out or replaced, right? So
Yes.
Danny's been removed from it. And Danny's
yeah.
bitter and angry that Greg was going to try to push this script and sell this script without her.
Without
Oh my
her.
God. All right.
I'm just saying, love make people do crazy things.
All right.
You're
so we
not
got-
wrong.
So it sounds like Maud and Elsie are leaning towards Danny as the primary, but Geraldine goes, yeah, I think Danny's involved, ladies, but I think it's Gordon that killed him. Jackie, you have been taking all of this in. You have your own thoughts and theories. Where are you, Jackie?
Come on, Jake.
I think I'm leaning towards Gordon as well. So as the primary.
Okay.
But I think that Danny's a red herring. I think that the mastermind behind Gordon is still Jolene. I think that those clues were honest clues, not thrown to derail us. I think that if anything, the biography that hasn't been or the videography that hasn't been published yet, I think maybe Gordon was a little peeved because he was looking for outside funding and didn't go to Gordon for the funding on that. And so I think Danny's a red herring.
So you're thinking Gordon did it. And we're thinking maybe the script shows us the fact that this was going to be self-funded. Maybe at the very bottom of the script, we can see Greg Shipley Production Company, right? With no financial help from Greg Thune, who helped put him there, right? Ooh, that's interesting. And we're saying Danny's smart. She's not that smart. It's Jolene that really hates Greg Shipley. I guess my question about that theory, though, is if we're going to use the so tied that, we've got the greeting card that was found at Foam, right? We've got the membership card, the attendance sheet. Do any of these clues help us pin it on Jolene being the one that ignites Greg into murder?
I think it's not concrete enough for us to pin it on her, but I think we can absolutely pin it on Gordon and let him turn on let him turn on whoever put him up to it. But I definitely think that Gordon did it, but he wasn't the one who incited it. It wasn't really his idea. It was like in a moment of anger, he admitted something, and then somebody else took that and ran with it.
And it's possible somebody maybe blackmailed Gordon, right? So maybe let's look at our clues again and see if any of those are proof of blackmailing Gordon to do this. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities. I do need the four of you to agree. First on who murdered Greg, and then we need to go through the clues to figure out how this theorized role is going to go. So
I could get behind Gordon actually committing the murder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm good there too, I think.
I think we could all get behind that.
Gordon's the killer.
But he's an idiot. And there's got to be something else.
He's a man.
Yeah. Yeah, automatically. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go through these clues. I need to find out how many of these are going to help you. How does the voided check help you? How does it prove that Greg killed him? So who is the voided check made out to?
The voided check was made out to Danny.
Okay.
Because she was originally going to be part of the script, and then Shipley wrote her out.
Okay, so how does that help us prove to Dalrymple that Greg killed him? Can we use that clue?
Yes, because
Gordon killed
him. Yeah, so we know that Danny went to Gordon about that check because Gordon had to personally void that check. So we know that tells him that he knew something was up with the script. So that was his first clue. Something was wrong with the script. It might have even been his first clue that there was a script in at all. And that he was not part of it.
A lot of money.
And it also may not be made out to Danny. So I need someone to help Maud here. I'm not convinced that this check is a clue that pins it on Gordon. So can we help? Can we help Maud here?
I think that the check is actually made out to Gordon himself as a thank you for helping me start this company. So here's a little something for you.
Voided
Was
check to
could
Gordon
be
Thune.
insulting as well too.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's the memo say, Elsie? On the voided
Oh,
check, the little memo in the lower
um,
left. For you kids, there was checks. They were made of paper. And
it just says thanks in quotation marks.
ooh, in quotation marks. Amazing. All right, voided check made out to Greg Thune. Greg never got, or Gordon Thune made out to Gordon. Gordon never got the money because it was voided by Greg, and it says thanks in the memo. That clue is in there. Done. Okay, restraining order. Can we use? Does that prove Thune?
It's against Greg, yes?
So it's against Greg. So it's a restraining order saying Greg can't get within
Then
100 yards of
Gordon?
Okay. And why was this restraining order put into place, and why would it make Gordon want to kill Greg?
I'm thinking, please jump in at any time, that it was against, Gordon did it against Greg because of that moment when he got the voided check. It just ignited pure and utter anger in him. So he said, well, if this is the case, then you have to stay such a feet away from me, which means Greg cannot enter the bank.
or maybe they got into an altercation over it
yes,
as well,
or the voided check.
too.
There was a huge altercation. All right. That is a restraining order against Greg put out by Gordon.
Yes.
The altercation happened at the chess club. Gordon went to the chess club, which is why the attendance records are important, because what's his name made Gordon sign it in order to come in, because he's a little anal retentive about it. So Gordon's name is on the attendance records.
Records.
Done.
Yeah.
Attendance record is in. That totally makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got we've got the greeting card, we've got the we've got keys to the warehouse, we've got the script, we've got the Brindlewood Bay Gambit book with the torn out chapter. We don't know what the chapter is yet. We've got the chess club card, we've got the note.
The
confirming.
chapter's going to be something like self-made man. And it's where Greg is like talking himself up as like, I came from nothing and did it all by myself.
No mention of Gordon.
No mention of Gordon or like any sort of backup or support that he had to get started with this.
Done. That's in. That's in.
Maybe
okay.
he just mentioned meeting his single wife. Being the first love in her life.
So if you want, I love that, and I will put the script as a clue for that.
Okay.
So in the script of Gordon's life, there is no mention of Gordon. He talks about how she was single, hadn't dated anybody for a long time. This total fiction wrote Gordon out of the story.
Or made him like a stupid bumbling boyfriend that of course you would want to leave to be with this successful
man.
Right.
Man.
So we've got 5. Do we want to get some more in here?
The keys, the keys to the warehouse have a little fob on them that says, "If found, please return to Gordon Thune."
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. He owned the copies of those keys to Warehouse 23.
Mm-hmm.
He also wrote the note to Greg to meet him at the warehouse where he confronted him with the bag of defective fit forks.
Okay, so we got 2 clues here.
Yes.
I need you to talk me through this, Elsie. How do we know? How do we say that this note proves that Gordon killed Greg?
It was written in cursive, and Elsie has paperwork where he signed over all of the documents for her to take over her business. So we can match the signature.
Elsie has his signature, right? She did all those business dealing to get that's done. That's in. That's in. All right. All right. So that is, the note is confirmed. Okay. I've got building plans, the chess club card, the fit fork bag, and the greeting card. Do we want to try to get any of those 4 in here, or are we feeling pretty good? Do any of those
I can-
4 pin it on Greg?
The fit
Gordon.
forks are still in. I think they still work here
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
so
they
how?
still work.
because
So finding that trash bag of fit forks, how does that prove that Gordon killed?
So Gordon financed the fit fork endeavor, and if a lot of them are defective, that could come back on him as a financier because he's going to take a hit when it all comes down to. Because there are lawsuits out the yang, right?
And that's why it was hidden, right? That's why maybe people weren't supposed to find that bag. And who knows, maybe someone barged in on him as he was, putting the body in there, and he was going to later maybe throw that into the bay and didn't have chance. All right.
Yes.
I'm there. I'm
I'm
there.
Good.
I'm going
Okay.
to make Greg into the worst person ever, and this is really
Yes.
bad.
He's not based
The-
on anybody, so go ahead.
The greeting card inside of it, where it says "You deserve this, Greg." Inside of it is a picture of Greg and Amanda, and it is addressed to Gordon.
It's not signed to Greg, it's signed by Greg.
It is signed by Greg. You deserve this, Greg, and it is absolutely an FU picture of him,
You
like, with
is
his
Gordon.
armor.
You deserve this.
Yes.
Signed Greg. I absolutely effing love it. That's amazing. All right, so
That's
I have got
great.
greeting card 1, the Fit Forks 2. The note we know is written by Gordon because Elsie was able to match it up to her paperwork. That's 3. The warehouse has a fob on it that identifies it as being Gordon's key. So that's 4. The script wrote out Gordon. That's 5. The chess book we have tear out there the chapter that says I'm a self-made man and gives no credit to Gordon whatsoever for having that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The attendance sheet.
Way to check. Yes.
Well, I forgot how does the attendance sheet put it on?
Because he made the treasurer made Gordon sign it when he came to confront.
So we know that's
Greg.
where Gordon came to confront Greg on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the restraining order and the voided check. Holy cow, guys! You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're gonna be at a +3. Are we ready to theorize?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's theorize.
Let's do
Let's
it.
go.
Let's stop for a second. A lot happened here. My Murder Mavens, with their incredible experience piecing this all together, we know Gordon did this. But if we were to go back and watch the tape, whose idea was this to start off with? Who was the first one to make the case? We all know Gordon did it. Who made the case? Who's going to roll this is what I'm asking.
Geraldine.
Geraldine.
Do it, Geraldine. Get it, Geraldine.
Come on,
All right.
Geraldine. Come on.
It's gonna be so
So-
quiet.
It is 9 clues against a complexity 6. So Geraldine, you're
Okay.
going to roll at a +3.
Okay. Okay, how do I roll this?
Come on, girl.
So you should have a
Just-
theorize move on your list. Do you not have that?
I do have that. Yeah.
All right. It
Okay.
should give you the option of going +3.
Okay. Prompt 3.
Don't
All
roll a
right.
6.
9.
So that's a 9. That's a partial success. We are going to cut to the outside early evening of the Brindlewood Bay Community Bank. And we can see Jackie, Geraldine, Maud, and Elsie standing there outside of the bank right before the bank is about to close with Sheriff Dalrymple. Sheriff turns to you, Geraldine. He goes, I mean, it all makes sense to me, but are you sure we're ready to arrest him?
We wouldn't do this if we weren't 100% sure.
5 of you walk into the bank. There are no customers left. In the back, we see Gordon. Not busy doing work. His admin does all the work. He's back there finishing out the crossword puzzle in the Brindlewood Bay daily paper. Geraldine, you fling the door of his office open. Oh, so did you decide that you wanted to go ahead and get that financed yourself for another motorcycle, ma'am?
You are under arrest.
Excuse
murder
me? For
of
what?
Greg Shipley.
You ladies came in here and we already talked about this. I said that Greg and I are good. And we're good. Yes, granted, he married the wrong woman, but I would never commit murder. What proof do you have?
She pulls out a list and like slapping down in front of him.
It's like a sack.
Yeah.
So you start rattling it off, and Gordon is trying to shoot each one of them down, but Geraldine's on top of it. And Gordon says, well, this couldn't have happened. Jackie comes in and goes, oh, but it did. Elsie is burning the sage to make sure that the vibes are right. Maud, how do you close this to make sure that Gordon has nothing that can make him appear innocent in front of the sheriff?
I think the final thing, the one that just finally gets it is the restraining order. She just kind of walks up to him, and Geraldine has kind of pinned him on one side of the desk. Maud is kind of moving on the other. Sheriff Dalrymple is still in the doorway, unsure of what is happening in this moment, and she drops the restraining order down where Gordon can see it, and she goes, "Oh, y'all were just fine, were you? Then what exactly is this, honey? Because like I don't know." And she goes and she has her glasses on her little the little chain, little pearl chain, and she puts them on and she looks at it and she goes, "I don't know what that is. Could you read that for me? Does that say, is that a restraining order, honey? Because that looks a lot like a restraining order, and there is your name and there is Greg's name. Now, if y'all were bestest of buddies, I don't know that you'd have this sitting right here, me."
And I gotta tell you, God bless Ralph. But he was kind of like, I don't know. We should go talk to him. We go talk to him. We see Maud slam that down there. And Maud goes, and that's when Dalrymple goes, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, wait a minute, Mr. Thune. I remember when you put that restraining order out. I remember all of this. This is all making a ton of sense. Sir, you are under arrest for the murder of Greg Shipley. This was a partial success on the theorize move. And the distraction, all eyes go on to the restraining order getting slapped down as we see Maud's last gift from her third husband's bounce a little bit as that hits the desk. And everybody's distracted as that noise hits there, and nobody notices Greg reaching into the drawer. And nobody notices Greg pointing the gun at the original person who accused him of murder, Geraldine. You have a gun pointed at your face. I'm not going to go to jail, he says. I need a night move from Geraldine.
Yeah, I was just going to say, hey, maybe it wasn't him, Maybe he didn't do it.
I said Danny. I said Danny from the very beginning.
It was Jolene, for sure. Composure?
Okay,
so don't roll anything yet.
Okay.
I'm good with a night move with composure. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail this roll?
He's going to shoot me.
Oh, it's worse than that. Yeah, he's definitely going to shoot you, Geraldine. And not only is he going to shoot you, he's going to kill you. Dead in his office for being the person that prevented him from getting away from this murder. He had big plans. Big plans. He was going to move into that house. He was going to reignite his love with Amanda. That you have messed all of this. Geraldine, this is everything for him. I need a night move.
Okay. This
Now,
is fine.
a couple reminders here.
Okay.
This could be a gold crown moment. Now, keep in mind that this is the end. This is the end of this mystery. We haven't used this yet.
Do y'all mind if I use the golden crown?
It's a
Use
good
it.
time to use it.
Use it.
Geraldine has the gun pointed at her head, and inexplicably, Geraldine turns to remind her other three mavens of what? Do you remember?
Do you remember Amanda Delacour's the tale of two lakes? When this exact moment happened, the heroine had a gun pointed at her head, and then Geraldine literally tries to kick the desk into him.
So just like Amanda Delacour in The Tale of Two Lakes, Geraldine remembers to kick the desk. She kicks the desk, and we see Gordon get hit in the stomach. The gun drops from his hands. And the music starts. And we see good old sheriff handcuffing Gordon. We cut to a montage of Gordon on trial. We cut to a montage of an article written by Danny. Banker found guilty of murder is the headline. As we slowly fade to that familiar sound of the Brindlewood Bay theme music. But that's not the end of the show. Because inexplicably, there's something else at the end of the show. As we fade from black back in, we see a darkened room. And there's 5 hooded men and women, or maybe, I can't tell, they're hooded. We can't see what they are. They're 5 people. And they're standing before, all facing this huge ornate mirror. It's oddly similar to the blood mirror, but it's larger and wider. And if you'd put those 2 mirrors next to each other, the Jackie saw and the mirror that we see now, you'd go, yeah, there's nothing alike, but there's something about it that makes it feel the same as the blood mirror. All of them, all 5 of them, we can't tell, men, women, old, young, because they're all wearing these white porcelain masks that look like unfinished Greek statue faces. Androgynous. Except for one of them, the 5th one, who's in the center, facing directly at the mirror. And God, we see this person reach up to the mask. And we see them start to take the mask off, and everybody watching is like, what the hell am I watching? And as the mask starts to peel away, the camera stops us from seeing, but we see the mask going away, but we don't see this person's face. And in the mirror, somehow the shadows and the light is just preventing us from seeing the face of this person. But when we look in the mirror, we can see that the mask is away. And that's the right hand. And the left hand is this ancient ornate dagger. And we see that dagger come up to this person's face. And this person shoves the dagger into their left eye. And we hear the chanting. You remember the chanting? The chanting at the beach? Uro mole aye, oyo mole aye. Somehow the 5th person who has this dagger now in their left socket is not chanting. And the way that we can't see their face, but we can see the dagger come out. The eyeball pinned at the top. It puts whoever they are takes their own left eye and points it towards the mirror. We see the eye start to move and shake as it stares at itself at the end of this dagger into that mirror. And we see the tail of tendons and nerves that got torn out as the eye got pulled out start to move like an animal's tail. And as the little nerves at the end of this eyeball, at the end of this dagger facing it shakes, we see the mirror start to shake. And instead of reflecting the footed figures, we see the coastline of Brindlewood Bay. We're going to go to credits. We'll be right back. I think 60% sure we'd finish this mystery tonight. But I was okay if it took 3 sessions. You just never know what the pace is going to be, right? But the 4 of you were rolling so well that you were able to just pick up clues, and it got to the point where we got to theorize. Now you guys had like 800 clues. So before we go to the, I've got questions for everybody, but I just want to quickly say, the one I have been fawning over this game for a while now, and everything that I've been fawning over did hinge on the theorized part. Because if this didn't work, then I was off. And now I've got this huge simping going on for public access, which uses the same mystery structure but a completely different setting. And I've been reading Public Access by Jason and friends, and I'm like, oh my god, could this be as good as Brindlewood Bay? But I tell you right now, like, I had high expectations for the theorized move, and watching the 4 of you do what you did and being able honestly to participate as the GM, to add a little bit, to be able to participate a little bit as fans, it was a huge hit for me. Like, I gotta tell you, like there was no doubt, like, I wanted you to succeed that role, because if you failed that role, then you were going to falsely accuse Gordon, and we still had a murder to figure out. and it all made sense to me. So I'm going to go out and say and tell you, if we're trying to mimic that feeling at the end of Columbo, at the end of Murder, She Wrote, at the end of the Daniel Steele murder novel, I felt like we did that. And I'm gonna Navi, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, because you have a different perspective than everybody. And when I asked you about, why are you playing Powered by Apocalypse, and we made jokes about that, you specifically mentioned this mystery system. So having read it and thought about it from a player perspective, from a designer perspective, but now you've lived it, where are you?
I liked it. It's strong. It worked really well. I will admit I was pretty concerned as we were tying all of the clues together. Well, what happens if we fudge the roll? Like, we have a million clues, but you can always roll those
Yeah.
ones, and now you've linked all of your clues. You hitched everything to that particular pony. So I had that fear in me of like, it's really strong and it feels really good, but up until the roll, because we got our strong theorize, but now it's up to the dice gods whether or not all of those clues are relevant. And so that was not the best feeling mechanic to me. That wasn't a great feeling mechanic, but otherwise I really love it. I love how everything comes together and how it's pieced together. If I was going to house rule this one, I would probably say if you have X number of clues you can justify, move on with your life. You're done.
Yeah, and I could definitely see that. The only thing that I thought was interesting was you guys had 6 clues at Greg's office. I think what pushed you to the warehouse was you didn't want to roll this without the +3, +4 that you ended up having, right?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, if we get to the point, like, I mean, at some point, all you need is a +6 and you're guaranteed. No, that's not. If you roll double ones, that gives you a 2. So if you're +4,
Mm-hmm.
no, +5. If you're +5, you're guaranteed to be right. So, yeah, no, I'm with you, Navi. Like, it would have been ugly because we would have destroyed some clues in the process, right?
Yeah.
Because we would have destroyed a lot of clues that we put some specificity around. Shanika, this is not the first mystery that you've played on the channel. So how does this compare to something more traditional like the Fear Itself or the Call of Cthulhu you played?
The biggest thing is that theorize roll, because Fear Itself, Call of Cthulhu, it has the villain in it already. We just need to figure it out. Whereas in this case, we're trying to figure it out. And if the RNG gods decide you're going to get a snake eyes with a +3, you're going to get a snake eyes, and now some poor guy is in prison, and we still got to figure out who the murderer is. So that's the biggest difference. And also, more of that we do get to kind of DM a bit, as well. Like when Nabi said with her Maven move, hey, never mind. I ninja flower bomb us out of here.
There's a ton of narrative player agency in this game, which I got to tell you, as an old dude, this did not exist when I played role-playing games in high school and college, and it was hard for me to understand until I played. And once I played and saw it in action, I'm like, God, yeah, this is the only way to do it. And I think I mentioned it at some point, either in the interview with Jason or in episode 1, where I was like, I bounced off this mystery system at first because it gives a ton of player agency, right? There's no canon murder. The players decide who the murderer is. I'm super comfortable with it. Does it nullify the play experience of a canon mystery? No. But I think there's stuff to learn when you're running a canon mystery that you can put more player agency in it than you think, and you may not have to drag your players through your little mystery as much, that you can let them be detectives too. So yeah, I'm with you, Shanika. All right, so Maeve, fellow GM, you've GM'd a lot. You've got your own fantastic podcast where you have been running games, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. We got Navi's designer perspective. We definitely got Shadika's player perspective. What's your GM perspective?
The GM perspective is that I am really, like you, starting to appreciate some games that allow you as the GM to sort of like step out of that semi-adversarial role into this is me. I get to play a game too that I really like. I think along with Navi, one of my concerns is for this is that this is, and I think it's not a concern. I think it's just something that you have to like understand, that this is not going to be a game everyone's going to want to play. Putting a player in a spotlight to say, hey, what is happening? You don't have, every player isn't like that. And we have, I mean, like, I think this cast is absolutely brilliant. Like, I love everybody, and we're dipping into this, and we're all like invested in making this what it is. But there are players that are going to look at that and go, I just want to roll some dice. I don't want to be making up the story as we go. So I do see, as a GM, you have to be very conscious, like, do my players want this game?
And I think, Maeve, I agree 100% with you, and that's true at the meta level with the mystery system, but it's also at the micro level too, with the paint the scene questions and tell me about what is it about the this, what is it about that, and when we did a little interludes during the vignettes, I was very prescriptive in my questions. I declared some truths in that process. So I totally agree. And it makes me think of, just very quickly, a mechanic that I'm really mad that I don't even think talked to you about as players. I've always assumed you wanted a void clue at 12 plus. Always know at a 12 plus, you can say, Craig, I don't want a void clue. I want to create a truth. So you can give up a void clue to create a new truth in the entire Brindlewood Bay campaign that we're playing, right? Not just for that mystery, but you can take that 12 plus and say, this is true. And that's, nobody argues about it. It's like,
you could have told me that before I ended up haunted as hell.
What is that?
All right. So yeah, I completely agree. Now, Amy, you guys played a mystery on Maeve's podcast with the House of Rookwood, right?
Yes.
There was a lot of action, there was a lot of horror, but at the heart of House was a mystery that you guys were going through. What worked system-wise in House of Rookwood that you loved, and what worked in Brindlewood Bay on this first mystery? Can you give me a sense of what you liked about both mysteries, mechanically maybe, or narratively?
Yeah, for sure. So, Curse the House of Rookwood, or Rotting on the Vine, is very, very narrative, at least the way that we played it. And I know that there were some things we didn't do, or some things that we changed a little bit, but it was like very, very, very narrative. There was actually, we didn't really do too many mechanics at all until it came down to like doing physical violence to things. There'd be a situation here and there, but it was actually quite rare. Whereas with this, it tends to be a little more dicey, which I like. I like to just throw some dice sometimes as well, too. I think that they both work well. Now, that being said, I don't have a ton of tabletop experience. So,
That's really for me to believe.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have it. Actually, I've only been doing this for a few years, and it's almost all been like D&D. So I didn't play a different tabletop game until Maeve approached me to do City of Mist, and then Rookwood, and now Slayers, which I am enjoying very much. So all of them, all of these games are completely different.
Yeah.
Thematically, mechanically, and as somebody who's not like super into this world quite yet, I enjoyed all of them, really. I love the 4+ on the Slayers, and I like the partial success versus the full success versus the partial failure. I like how that kind of breaks down as well too, and I like, hey, what are you afraid is going to happen? So I like that it is like pretty much all of us are like partial player and partial GM, and I dig that quite a bit.
So is it fair to say that you've only DM'd Dungeon and Dragons?
That's correct. Yeah.
And not talking necessarily systems. Amy, are you at all drawn to? Are you non-D&D curious at this point? Is there a genre or a mechanic?
I'm about all of it right now. I'm really kind of at that like toddler sponge stage of my my tabletop livelihood.
Yeah.
So I'm really just kind of taking them all out. I'm not opposed to anything. I actually had to look up like powered by the apocalypse. Yeah. I was like, I don't know what they're talking about, but I'm gonna find out. So I enjoy Dungeons and Dragons very much. So
Yep.
I run my own game. I've been playing in another game for like 3.5 years now. So
So
I
cool.
enjoy it. And I am definitely curious as to the rest of the tabletop world out there. I'll play anything. Throw a
So-
game at me. Have
so
your
I-
people call my people.
Amy, I wave the wand, and when I wave the wand, I give you the perfect table with the perfect players. I give you a complete Matrix Neo download of whatever system you want, and I say, go run the game. Is there a? Can you tell me what that game might be? And I don't mean specific, right? But is there a genre or a feel or like what are you anxious maybe to run for your first non D&D game? What do you want? What do you see happening there?
I want to do a spacey thing. So I'd like to
Ooh,
do
sci-fi.
like a big like world jumping, galaxy jumping kind of sci-fi game. So kind of like the Treks, but cooler.
Mhm. So we'll talk offline. I've got a long list of games that I want you to go check out. There's a
Yes, I
lot of really
will.
good games to get into.
I'll
this.
do 'em all.
Understand that when Craig starts talking to you about games, money
Because
leaks out of your
expensive.
wallet.
Yeah.
Into like,
That does
and
tend to happen.
one of the first ones that pops into mind is written by Drake, so that's good. All right, so stars and wishes.
Yay!
I'm gonna start, but before I do my stars and wishes, I want to give everybody a feel about episode 3. Episode 3 is going to have a new murder. It's going to have a new mystery. These conditions are going to stay because these conditions matter, right? Amanda is still Amanda, right? The conspiracy is still the conspiracy. Geraldine still has a sprained elbow, right? So these conditions stay until we see some cozy moves happening. So that's something for us to think about for episode 3 is to do the cozy move. There's going to be a new murder. We'll see in a moment. I wish it was a moment. We're going to see in a couple weeks. How much time has passed between us seeing Gordon get his due justice and the new murder? But these void clues stay. So right now we have 3 void clues, and there are triggers as they start picking up more and more void clues. As Brindlewood Bay gets stranger and stranger, things start escalating. So after they got their first void clue, that was the first time we got a sense of something screwed up. And when they get to X void clues, I've got a trigger as a GM to escalate this overall mystery. Where this is going to end, and we don't know how many mysteries of the week are going to happen in the process, but once they get enough void clues, they are going to have to confront this conspiracy. But as we go, they're going to be solving murders and uncovering more and more about this conspiracy. Who's involved? What's the origins of it? And can we stop it? So stars and wishes for me. For episode 3, I'm going to start stars for episode 1 and 2 for me. You guys trusted each other. And I think everybody was really generous with each other. The star for me was the theorize process, watching the 4 of you bounce off of each other, letting me participate in that. I really enjoyed being able to add some seasonings to the thoughts and being able to be a part of that without feeling that I put my finger on the scale. And me putting the theorize move as the star is not about the mechanic. It was watching the 4 of you guys just embrace and say, this is what we're doing, and we're going to lean in. And I think it was you, Navi, that said, are we pinning it on Gordon? I gotta tell you, yeah, Gordon did it. That I gotta say, I think we pulled that off. So that's my stars.
Yeah.
Wishes. I'm gonna give you a wish that I know it's gonna happen. We're gonna meet more people in Brindlewood Bay. And even though Jolene Cakes was tied to the chess club, even though Amanda Shipley was the widow of Greg Shipley, these people aren't going away. This is a small town, and I'm wishing for us to really see this town come alive and learn just how small this town really is. And I'm excited for the second murder and the third murder, where we start seeing the same faces and new faces coming back who weren't suspects and now they are. And I'm wishing that we get to play a lot. That's my wish. Navi, stars and wishes.
I'm gonna be absolutely awful today. So my stars are like everything and everyone. It was so fun. We kind of found our rhythm. It was a lot tighter than the first episode. I think
Yeah.
everybody kind of knows who's gonna talk and when, and it's really good. It was a lot of fun. So I actually have no wishes because last week or last session, my wish was like that we'd hit that groove, and since I feel like we did hit it, I'm good.
Not gonna let you get away with that.
Oh no!
That's a wish fulfilled. What are you wishing for in session 3 and 4? What would you like to see more of? Is there something new you'd like to see? What would make you happy at the end of session 3 or session 4?
I'd like to lean into this whole being haunted thing now. I think I've set kind of this thing where now, even though I know I cannot take void clues, I'm going to take them anyway. I was probably going to take them anyway, but so I'm hoping that I get some more. Like my wish is to collect all of the void clues and be the most haunted maven, and then I guess get possessed and die. I don't know, but I'm very excited to find out.
I love how just naturally Jackie has become like the void magnet.
This is Jackie's
and
thing
part of
now.
what I love is like at the surface, the character Jackie is the most put together of the 4 of you, and she's the one that's getting fucked with. All right, Shadika, stars and wishes.
Oh my gosh, the entire episode was a star for me. But I'll pick one, so I'm not saying everything. When Maud pushed into Amanda Shipley's house and just overwhelmed her with all of herness. That was beautiful. That was a great moment.
That's great.
She's a lot.
Yes, it was
Hail Mary.
perfect. Wishes? Oh, I just want to see more void clues. I'm in it for the spooky, Craig. Like, more
In it for the
void
spook.
clues. Yes, and it's perfect that Jackie is the one that's getting it. And just see how deep that goes.
So what'll be interesting is when another Maven gets one, and right, because I'm getting a sense, like how much is Jackie? So that's not true. Geraldine, you found the first one, which was the thumbnails.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
right?
yeah,
So yeah. So
Yeah.
Jackie's got 2. She's got the pictures, which she has shared with you. So you guys all have a sense of the spooky, both in the thumbnails and that. I didn't get a sense that Jackie shared the mirror though. I get a sense that Jackie kept that to herself, or no?
I think Maud knows something is weird. We didn't have time to talk about it because I was trying to get her to confirm. So she must have been like, "The hell? What do you want about?" Right? So there's that. But what was the door that I made everyone go through? The door, the creepy mirror door that appeared. That was supposed to be a void clue in the
warehouse.
Did I miss a void clue?
Yeah, that's why the door appeared.
She's on 3 now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The door appeared, and then I made all of us go through it, and then you cut to the end of the episode. But I pushed us through the creepy door.
This is a total GM player miscommunication. That was just a normal door that I put mirror image to the door you came into. But now I'm gonna have to go back and watch the tape because I can make that a void clue. If I can't remember, did you roll high enough? And I said I would keep the void clue. I'll figure it out. And if it is a void clue, then that's exactly what it is, because thematically it totally works here that it's a mirror door. So that would actually give you your 4th void clue, because you've got the blood mirror. I had written down just the blood mirror, the box, the pictures with the eyes scratched out, and the thumbnails. But if I owe you a 4th one, just tune into episode 3. I'll go back and watch the tape, and I'll give you that 4th one if I missed it. And we'll make that just like this door that appeared as a mirage, as a mirror to the other door. Ooh, that's cool. I kind of like just want to make that so.
Damn it. It's your game. You can.
That's really cool. That's really cool. All right. Maeve, stars and wishes.
Well, first of all, I noticed that we have not done our crowns for this episode.
Oh my God. You know what? Let's do 2 things real quick. Thank you, Maeve. I get so caught up. First of all, let's do XP real quick. So Navi, what did you mark, and did you get any of them?
Did you secretly undermine authority or a local official? We always do a lot of that. That's an easy one, so I'm always going to take that one. We broke in with a key to the warehouse, and we also helped cover up some B&E action. I think all of that is undermining authority.
So I don't agree with the second one. I'm giving you the first one because of the harbor master showing up. So I think that
Yes.
that's where you undermine the harbor master by being there. So definitely mark that as an XP. So we got 1 XP for Jackie via Navi. Shadika, did Geraldine pick up any XP? Or you had a second
No.
one, Davy? What was your second one?
No, the second one was, did you share a memory of a late family member? And it just
Didn't happen.
we're too in the fiction.
Yep. All right. Geraldine, did she get any XP?
No. So
That's
I
okay.
had. Did you share your wisdom with a young person? Didn't have time. Did you share a memory of a late family member? Could not do.
All right, that's okay. How about Maud?
I had, did you share a memory of a late family member or did you dote on someone? And I did not.
What?
Did.
Yeah, I kind of did. I think I doted a little bit on my a character that wasn't actually in, but I did send a hot young man to my granddaughter.
I'm giving it to you. I think that's
Okay.
doting. I think you doted on him a bit, and I think you
Yeah.
definitely doted on your granddaughter on the phone. Like we saw the doting side of Maud there, so definitely take the XP for that.
Okay.
Did we get any for Elsie, Amy?
So maybe I had I'm gonna reason for it.
Let's
Did you
do it.
show someone you've still got it, right?
Mm.
And I like to think that when I slammed the front door on the little coffee shop lady.
No question. I had a whole scene written in my head of her apologizing to you, trying to make nice. Our shops are next to each other. I should have been better to you. And you're like, nah. And I loved it. So yeah, you still got it.
And we
XP,
all got
mark it.
and we all got one for solving the mystery.
Oh,
right?
you all got one for solving the mystery. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, mark that one as well. That's good. Yeah, thank you. And what was your
But I
second
did not
one?
share my wisdom with a young person.
All right. Did anybody max out their XP?
I'm like one away.
So we're gonna we'll do. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to all of you guys about advancements. Navi, start thinking. Do you want to pick up a new move as a secondary move, or do you want to add a +1 to one of your attributes? You don't need to decide now. We'll talk about that at the beginning of episode 3. Who owes me crowns?
I do.
I do.
All right, let's start with you, Shadika. What do you have? How many crowns do you have to mark?
Just one.
All right, what did you mark?
A flashback showing how you were an imperfect mother.
So if we go back, where can we see Geraldine as the imperfect mother?
Probably the first time her and her daughter, Helena, got into an argument.
Mm.
I think it's an open secret that everyone kind of know Geraldine never wanted kids, but she had 3 because her husband wanted them. And the first time her daughter, 13, yelling at her, I want to go do this, Mom. I don't want you as a mom. Then she just said, I never wanted kids to begin with.
And that was to the oldest?
Yes.
So I got a couple questions on this one. This is a big deal. First of all, that was the oldest of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Did your oldest ever tell the other 2?
Oh,
You said that.
absolutely. Yeah.
And if I was a stranger and walked into a room with the 4 of you, you and your 3 children, what would be something I would notice that would make me realize that like if someone then told me that story, I'd be like, okay, now this makes sense. So what is a way today we could see the aftermath of you saying that to your oldest?
Her oldest doesn't visit her as much. There are a lot of like, but extremely different in the same breath.
Yeah.
The middle child loves her, but they're not super close. And her youngest is essentially her baby boy.
I'm the oldest and I hate the youngest.
Yes. and I'm the youngest girl, but not the youngest child.
Yeah.
The youngest.
You guys
So
have
it's
no idea how
very-
hard it is.
Yes, it's very sarcastic and fighty in a room with everyone together. The youngest protects moms, the oldest attacks her. It's 2 against 1, and the middle child just kind of chilling there, like, "Yep, I won't be home next Christmas."
All right. So that crown stain's marked. You can never
See
mark
you
that
next
crown
year.
again.
All right.
All right. Who else owes me a crown?
I do.
All right. Let's hear it.
So mine was a flashback of the fondest memory of your late partner. And I'm going to tie this back to the episode because what we see is Maud. She's about 30 years younger than she is now. And she has her third husband. The third husband is Gerald.
Spreadsheet.
Yeah, check the spreadsheet. She has
Had to
Gerald
check.
by her side. Gerald is a nice looking man, getting into the late middle age. They have her 2 children, Doris and Mike, who are teenagers, with her, and they're looking actually at the Shipley house, right, with the for sale sign here. And Gerald kind of sighs and he says, I'm real sorry that this didn't work out for us. This just, and Maud leans her head on his shoulder and she says, don't worry about it. This wasn't the house for us, but I really do think that this town is a town we're going to end up in. And you see them kind of walk off.
Don't.
Quick question. Did he ever bring it up again, or did he just let it go? So it sounds to me like he felt like he disappointed you, right?
Yeah.
And you were a good partner and said it's okay.
I think it
okay,
did.
we're okay. Did he ever bring it up again?
So by the time that Gerald had met Maud, she had already been married twice, and she already had, the money from 2 other husbands left over. So she was already pretty well off. But Gerald had just made all of his money, and so I think he was always a little worried that he just wasn't enough. That he wasn't on that ladder enough for her. And despite the fact that Maud herself didn't come from money, I think he always just saw her as like this socialite, this person who was kind of like born into this life, and he just never really fit. So he's always trying to like make up for things.
Yeah, he's always just a little bit of insecure, and it sounds like maybe that he was running without being chased. That maybe Maud didn't see him the way he saw himself a little bit. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. All right, so that's marked forever. You can never use that again. Who else owes me a crown?
I do.
All right, Nabby, what did you mark?
Actually, when I decided that I didn't have children, I don't think I realized how many of these triggers hinge on children.
And I should have mentioned this. All these rules I'm bringing up now afterwards when you could have used them earlier. So I'm a great GM, right? You can make that nieces or nephews or children in your life. They don't have to literally be your biological children. So those are all available to you. So I'm sorry for not mentioning that. So would you mark with those great restrictions I put on you?
Okay, so I also chose a flashback of your fondest memory of your with your late partner
Okay.
This is going to display how beautifully dysfunctional they were. So Maddie had was supposed to do a late business trip, and Jackie was really trying to get her to go out and do something before she left for her business trip. But Maddie's meticulous woman had to make sure that her garden was set and prepared before she could leave. So she spent that time there instead. And so Jackie lost her temper, as she tends to do, and she drove their 1968 Carmen Ghia through the garden gate. And ran the garden down, and Maddie just stands up, drops her trowel, and says, "Where do you want to go to dinner?"
I have questions.
So many.
So at that moment, I'm imagining her acknowledging she knows you, right? And she knows you, right? She knows what drove you to that, the impulses that caused that to happen. And we don't want to get into it, but did she think that that was the worst? So is she, before she passed, seeing Jackie be Jackie, if someone said to her, when was Jackie just the worst?
Oh, that was not it.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Jackie's a terrible person.
Oh God.
I imagine her. She's just really spoiled, so she a lot of
Yeah.
antics.
Yep. And remind me, has Elsie marked crowns? I can't remember if you did in episode 1. Did you?
I think Elsie did in one.
Yeah, in episode 1, yeah.
Okay, so you have just one crown mark, but you didn't mark one this episode.
Just one. That's right.
All right, beautiful. All right, so where did we leave off before it? Thank God, you reminded me, Maeve. So thank
You were asking me about stars and
stars and wishes.
Yeah. Honestly, I think my stars are these little personal moments, the vignettes at the front and then the crowns at the back. I love how I love how you are able to like take what these people say and add those little questions in that like dig in just a little bit deeper. And I also really love that moment like where we get this chance to like see these ladies and like everything that has come before them to make them who they are now, and like you get to sort of build that character and give a little like backstory, like I think it's awesome. I love it.
The discovery process is neat, right? Because I feel like each of you are discovering your mavens, and we're all discovering each other's mavens. We're discovering Brindlewood Bay. Like yeah, I'm with you.
I think it's fun that we can fundamentally ask the question, why are they friends?
Yeah.
Right? Why are these 4 very, very different people friends? And I think through gameplay and a little bit through these vignettes, we get to see like what the glue is that holds these people together, and I think it's great.
And we're starting to see that connecting. We still haven't done a cozy moves yet, because I think the cozy moves are going to be vignettes that we see happening that are really going to build that up. I'm going to be the biggest jackass in the world. I have another star. I loved the gold crown move at the end with the desk and the name of the book, and just I love that. All right, so wishes.
Wishes. My wishes are really that we get to just really digging into this, like to the spooky shit. Like I want to see how this comes up, and I have my other wish is that I want to see more of Sheriff Dalrymple. Like I want this sweet stupid man to like decide that he is going to help us meddle. Like I want him to be like, no, they're getting all the credit. I'm going to go in and do this. That's what I want.
So, and I didn't make this clearer, but Sheriff Dalrymple is the first sheriff in the history of Brindlewood Bay to solve a murder.
Ooh.
Or is he?
Dun, dun, dun.
Stars and wishes, Amy. Oh, you're on mute. Still on mute.
Oh, damn it. That's okay. I tried it. You took mine, actually. I freaking love the image of Geraldine in her biker jacket and her big boots just kicking the shit out of that desk straight into Gordon. That was amazing. I absolutely loved that. I was so freaked out as a player, like, no! And then you pulled that off, and it was so good. That was my favorite bit. I enjoyed that a lot. My wish is I want to use my things in my cozy place.
Yeah, we still didn't.
I've got
do
some
that.
really cool stuff, and I'm just waiting for the opportunity to kind of present itself. So that's kind of my wishes, is I want to use my little things.
I want to buy a bunch of games from the Drakes. Where do I go?
A coupleofdrakes.itch.io, and if that's too complicated because you're not familiar with itch somehow, but you're here, I don't know how that would work, you can just go to coupleofdrakes.com.
Wonderful games there, guys. Wonderful games. We're playing one of them on the channel simultaneous to this, and that's Court of Blades. Before we went live, poor Navi we were gushing about Maeve is going on and on about it. I'm talking about just how great it is. Your other half, Sean, is doing an amazing job GMing, and if you're not watching the Court of Blades play, go check it out. You get to see this dumbass as a player, and I'm having a ton of fun doing it.
Yay.
All right, I know Maeve. Talk to me about our podcast.
Okay, well, I am. Craig is the busiest person. I am like trying to run this marathon next to him. So places you can find me currently. We have my podcast. It's called Foxtail Games. Amy is on it. Amy is on both seasons. Absolutely fantastic. The first season's already, wound its way through. Please go listen to it. It's great. It's a horror game. And then we jumped into a new game, which is Slayers, which is, much more, it's a little bit of A-Team, a little bit of like if A-Team was run by Guy Ritchie. Absolutely hilarious. We're having an absolute blast playing it. You can also find me over running with the Project Derailed guys on their Fables Around the Table and their Cape Chronicles. They do a whole bunch of podcasts, actual plays. Please go listen to them. Their Spelljammer podcast is getting awards all over the place. It's getting nominated for all kinds of great awards. But I am on their Masks, Cape Chronicles as a guest, and we'll be on a future Fables episode, which is we're doing some cool shit. We're doing Old Gods, and I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So, find me there. Find me here. Find me at the podcast, the Foxtail Games podcast. Make sure you look up TALE. Do not look up Foxtail TAIL. It will take you to bad places on the internet.
You'll get on a list.
The truth.
Yeah.
Amy, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, you can find me over on Maeve's podcast, over on 2 seasons of that. And then you can find me on YouTube, Endless Night Gaming.
Beautiful. Last but not least, the veteran player on this channel. Shadika, what do you want to plug?
Oh, you can find me here.
What is something you love that's not Third Floor Wars that you want to plug?
Oh, for sure,
Movie.
Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I am officially DMing that.
Yay.
Oh,
Are you doing
really?
5th edition or are you doing older editions?
A new edition.
Is it good?
Yes.
I haven't tried it yet. Is it really good?
I enjoy it. The book is interesting, so it takes some time to get through that.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. The book is interesting. Once you read it the 10th time, it finally makes sense of where things are. But the system, the storytelling, I super love it. I loved it so much. No one else was running it, so I had to become a DM.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. I'm going to interrogate you
how you do
offline
it.
about that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh gosh, okay.
That's awesome. All right, we've got a busy couple days here because I'm going to be taking 2 weeks off coming up. So we've got Vasan on Sunday. Could be the last episode. That if you like folk horror, spooky shit, like we've been turning it up to 11 on that one. So go check that out. And then everybody's favorite, the most popular play on the channel, Forbidden Lands. We didn't think we were going to play again until August because of scheduling. Somehow, some way, I talked everybody into playing Monday night, so we don't have to wait till August. So you can check out episode like 745 of Forbidden Lands. We're playing again in August. Is that right, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you in a month. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.